unsuspecting boys to join the initiation school. We move to news abroad. The United Nations Security Council has unanimously decided to terminate its peacekeeping mission in Mali. The Council adopted a resolution requesting the UN multi-dimensional integrated stabilization mission in Mali to immediately begin ceasing its operations with the objective of completing the process by the end of the year. The drawdown of the 13,000-strong peacekeeping force comes after years of operation, in fact, operating tension with Malian junta that has governed the West African nations since a 2020 coup. And Britain has introduced new legislation to regulate protest action. The purpose of the amended legislation is to curtail some of the methods used by environmental activists to protest. Police will have new powers to remove protesters, and offenders could be jailed up to 3 years. The traffic police will also be able to remove protesters blocking transport networks in the future. The government says protesters waste taxpayers' money and disrupt people's lives. However, environmental activists argue that their protests help draw attention to the consequences of climate change. And we stay with news abroad. A Florida firefighter has adopted a baby who was placed in the U.S. state's only safe haven baby box. The baby box allows parents to legally surrender a child. When used, it triggers an alarm which notifies emergency responders. Vincent, last name withheld for privacy reasons, was on duty when the alarm connected to the box went off. When I went to check, Zoe was laying in there, Vincent recalled, referring to the baby he and his wife Katie have since adopted. Vincent and Katie had been trying unsuccessfully to have children for nearly a decade. What a beautiful story and a beautiful name to go with it, because Zoe means God's gift of life. Well, on that note, that's where I leave your morning headlines. Let's take a first look at your sport.
The signs are all around us. Let's delve into a bit of football right now. In a bold act of defiance, Banyana has now refused to play their scheduled match, a friendly against Botswana at Tsakane Stadium on Sunday. Now, according to SABC Sport, the South African women's national football team set to compete in the 2023 FIFA World Cup desire a more fitting send-off, as they have taken a stand against the chosen venue. The players insisted on a stadium with greater significance, preferably one that hosted matches during the 2010 FIFA World Cup. This kind of taps into a narrative that we've been focused on in media a lot lately when it comes to women's sport. Banyana head coach Desiree Ellis named a second-string team for the fixture, with the makeshift side losing 5-0. Then on to footballing news a little further afield. Liverpool have now confirmed the signing of Dominik Szoboszlai from, RB Leipzig on Sunday. That was after paying the Hungarians 70 million euro fee. The 22-year-old will now further bolster the Reds' midfield options after the arrival, of course, of Argentine World Cup winner Alexis McAllister last month. Now, Liverpool were in the market to refresh their midfield after a fifth-place finish in the Premier League last season saw them miss out on Champions League qualification for the first time in 7 years. Szoboszlai, he's got what it takes, scored 20 goals, but it's those 22 assists in his 91 games for Leipzig since joining in January of 2021 that I think piqued their interest. Then we turn to cricket. It was a battle royale on the final day yesterday as Australia won the second Ashes Test at Lords by 43 very tense runs, despite a stunning century from the English captain Ben Stokes that was supercharged by the controversial dismissal of Johnny Bairstow. So Stokes made a remarkable 155 before he was dismissed, with England 70 runs shy of a steep target of 371. England were eventually dismissed for 327. It was the dismissal of Bairstow, though, that incited the fury of the Lords crowds as he wandered out of his ground after ducking a Cameron Green bouncer, and quick-thinking wicketkeeper Alex Carey then underarmed the ball onto the stumps. We don't see it very often, but this one hit a nerve, and Bairstow thought he had secured the ground by tapping his bat behind the crease, but was given out. So I think watch that space. If we know the Ashes for anything, controversy will follow. Now we turn to Formula One, and Red Bull's Max Verstappen continued his imperious march towards a third world title with a dominant victory at the Austrian Grand Prix this weekend. The Dutchman's fifth win on the trot moves him now 81 points clear of teammate Sergio Perez in the championship race. And behind him, excitement was provided by a battle for the podium positions between Perez and Ferrari's Leclerc. Won it. And that was thanks partly to stalwart defense from teammate Carlos Sainz before Perez took third. The team knows what they have to achieve. But that's where we leave our sport for this first scintillating hour of the show. We'll do it again in about an hour or so. Right now, though, lots to report on the weather front. I'm sure some warnings to get in. Ryle's got the latest.
Thank you so much, G-Man. Yes, reporting on weather this morning, and in our weather news, 5 communities are still cut off in the Namaqualand area, and this in the Northern Cape due to the heavy rains and subsequent flooding. Now, 5 people are still missing, and search and rescue teams are on the ground looking for the unaccounted. Now, a mother in the Buffelsrivier area had to give birth at home because of inaccessibility to a healthcare facility. Namakwa Municipal spokesperson Jason Mulford said they needed air support. Now, he said air support would bring some relief, especially to the Buffelsrivier community. Now, he added that there was just one shop in town, but that it had no stock left. Now, quote coming through saying the people of Buffelsrivier are in dire need of supplies, unquote. Now, carrying on with our headlines right now, but diving into the temperatures this morning and starting off in Polokwane, the day starting at a low of 7 up to a high of 20 degrees. Mbombela sees the day starting at 8 up to 26. Pretoria 10 is your low up to a high of 21. In Johannesburg, sunny skies expected from 8. You move up to a high of 19 degrees Celsius. Carrying on to Mahikeng now, where the day starts at a chilly 8. A nice warm, moderate 22 degrees. Much the same for Klerksdorp, starting at 6 up to a warm 22. Kimberley 10 is your low up to 21. And Bloemfontein, the sunny skies continue from a chilly 4 up to a moderate 20 degrees Celsius. Around the coast now and over to Richards Bay, where the day starts at a low of 13 up to 26 degrees. Pietermaritzburg sees the day starting at 8 up to 27. Durban, sunny skies expected from 15 up to 24. And Mthatha, much the same from 9 up to a high of 25 degrees Celsius. Carrying on around the coast and over to East London, where the sunny skies continue. 12 is yellow up to a high of 23. Cradock, chillier start of 3 degrees, but up to a moderate 23 for your maximum. GQ, Gqeberha sees the day starting at 13 up to 20 degrees. And George, 11 is your low up to a high of 17 degrees Celsius. The sunny skies continue in the mother city as we carry on with the temperatures starting at 11. You move up to a high of 19 degrees. Worcester sees the day starting at 6 up to 24. Sutherland 2 is your low up to a warm, well, not actually that warm, 17 is your max only. And Uppington, last but not least, 11 to start the day up to a maximum of 25 degrees Celsius. From our sunrise views, from sunrise temperatures, it's time to go to sunrise views right now. And starting us off this morning, we've got Shakira in GQ, Gqeberha, snapping a moment of the red tones peeking through the trees. And I love this. I love how that background is just out of focus, but brings all the emotion of a beautiful day promised. John is up next from GQ, also sharing a moment as he watches the sun rise up. And this moment in Gqeberha is just absolutely incredible. Thank you so much, John. I absolutely love it. And so does everyone else in the studio. May is up next in Umbilo. Heading out to work, shared this view of the sun beaming. And look at the power of this one, just front and center for all of us to enjoy. And then Marilise in the Northern Cape enjoying beautiful pinks in the sky. And this is just absolutely incredible. The tones of happiness, of joy, and another beautiful week ahead. Mzansi, thank you so much for sharing these incredible pictures. We'll do it all again in the hour. And for now, though, we'll keep this one because it's bringing a massive smile to our face. For now, though, let's catch up with the team and see what else is happening on the show.
Thank you, Raul. Listen, we have loads coming up, and today's the day you want to be part of every single discussion. It's all about self-development, and self-development needs self-discipline. That's going to be the first thing we're going to be unpacking to help you towards your personal growth goals. And then we're going to have a little bit of fun with all of our firsts. I'm just going to leave it there. We'll unpack that a little bit later, so stay tuned to your Feel Good Breakfast show.
We have exciting news for all you young chefs. Yes, you guessed it. The Excella Young Chef competition is back. If you are a qualified chef with at least 3 years of experience, are under the age of 35 and have a confident TV personality, then enter to stand a chance to compete for a 20,000 Rand cash prize and that coveted title of Excella Young Chef for 2023. Just follow the Excella Young Chef competition link on the Afternoon Express's Facebook, Twitter or Instagram pages, or on our website. Upload a video of yourself sharing your name, a short intro about who you are, where and when you qualified, and describe your signature Exceller dish using Exceller rice, Exceller sunflower oil, or Exceller mayonnaise. And also, tell us why your dish is made excellent with Exceller.
Entries close at midday on the 21st of July, 2023.
T's and C's apply and can be found on afternoonexpress.co.za. Exceller, a taste of pure excellence.
Great.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Oh, yes, Mzansi, welcome back. It's your Feel Good Breakfast Show, Monday morning, and we are diving straight into the things that are going to serve you, just like that thing we call discipline. And discipline is a key ingredient to achieving success, and I think we know this, right? So some even say that discipline is the greatest form of self-love. I love this. Now, motivational speaker Dr. Steve Harris and entrepreneur and founder of the Roxy Davis Foundation, Roxy Davis, they are both here to unpack their perspectives on this idea and discuss the different ways to foster your focus and creativity. Ooh, I am here for this one. Good morning, guys. How are we doing?
Well, thank you.
Good, thanks. Yes.
Oh, Dr. Steve Harris, I'm actually going to start off with you. And just based on what Raul said, discipline is the greatest form of self-love. What are your thoughts on discipline?
Well, as we spoke before, I'm going to separate the two topics because I have no problem with the self-love aspect, but the discipline thing is a lot easier for me. So I'll always go for the easy side. I'll stick to easy. And for me, discipline is allocating your energy to the right thing at the right time for the right reason. You don't waste energy because that's a very precious commodity. So now you can give your best performance consistently, despite what's going on out there, cameras and whatever, and despite what's going on in here, concerns and the usual problems. If you have the discipline, you can do that. And I guess with the discipline, what's my experience, what seemed to be improbable starts to seem probable. What seemed to be implausible starts to seem plausible. What seemed to be impossible starts to seem possible. So that's my thing. And I guess then the self-love follows, because you like yourself or love yourself a lot better. How did I do?
I like that. No, Doc, you honestly painted a picture in my mind of someone literally climbing this mountain of impossible and discipline almost feeling like the steps towards that success. And the more discipline you take, the clearer that picture becomes once you reach the top. And I love what you said there.
Thank you.
Mic drop. You can go home. We're done with it.
That's it. It's all gone.
Roxy, listen, you're someone that, in my opinion, I don't know if this is true though, but you've actioned self-discipline in a beautiful way. I mean, 9 times surfing champion, amongst many other things. You're doing so much in the space that you play in. Surely discipline is an essential part of that. How do you invoke this sort of self-discipline to get you to a point where you can achieve these incredible unlocks that you have in life?
I think from a very early age, I was very competitive. So I learned that competing, the input was competing, the output was winning. Yeah. But that was it's a very circular, short-lived cycle. And what I had learned through that, though, and as I evolved and as I matured and through my surfing career, I was able to develop and have laser focus in terms of what I was focusing on, and singular focus. So being able to be in that moment, be present, achieve, and then also look at the long goal. So creating, understanding what my inputs were, understanding what my outputs were, understanding what the impact of that was going to be. So what initially started off as, a success and achievement in a quick way became understanding the journey of myself and then how I could get to that end point. And it's a journey. It's not, self-discipline doesn't just arrive. Yeah. You have to learn it. And each of us as an individual, our journey of self-discipline and growth and personal growth and self-love it's a never-ending journey. And as we grow, we evolve, we mature, that will change in itself. And that's what I learned through competitive surfing.
And that's incredible, because it's something, like you said, it's going to be there throughout life. We cannot, just because you achieve the one thing now, all of a sudden stop with the self-discipline. But Dr. Steve Harris, I want to know from you, do you think there's a connection between self-discipline and creativity? Yes. I'm happy to say that if you're composed, then there is. If you lose it in terms of anxiety and excitement, the creativity gets compromised. But if you stay composed, you can include creativity at any part of your journey. You're in this bubble, as Ben Stokes was yesterday, and you can perform, but you can also be creative. You don't have to hit every ball for a 6. You realize, oh my word, if I hit that one, I'm in trouble. So I think the two go very well together once you've learned composure, though. Okay. The ability to be in the zone, in the eye of the storm. Always a storm around you.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Always is.
Yeah, so the symbolism here is powerful, and it's really like stirring something up inside of me, getting these crazy realizations. It's almost like discipline is like this investment into your future almost. You got to weigh up what you want to do now versus what's worth it later on, and discipline kind of governs that decision, right? I'm trying to maybe make this conversation practical, because I think a lot of people are now aware of the fact that discipline can unlock something, right? But how do we get to a point where we can allow for ourselves to execute that discipline? How do we get to a point where we can encourage discipline, where we know that discipline is beyond just a word and a term? It's something that we now willingly are wanting to access and action at the same time. How do we get to that point where we can generate momentum maybe?
I think practically applying it for me, I've been able to in my thinking, say, this is the only way, so this is the way, and then apply it to my life emotionally, psychologically, socially, spiritually, and say, I need to do this holistically, and to get up in the morning and to go and do. So a lot of us want to do, but to have that discipline, it's about self-talk, it's about getting up and actually doing it. So, but you can't just focus singularly in one area of your life. You can't say, you know, emotionally I'm doing well, where maybe physically you're not. So I think you need to take that holistic picture of discipline and apply it.
I love that. Well, Roxy, Steve, thank you for joining us today and for helping us unpack the topic of self-discipline. I think we've all learned and taken something from this, and it's all towards that self-development goal that you have. You require that discipline, and we hope that you enjoyed our conversation this morning.
Thank you so much, team. Yes, we will be continuing that amazing conversation in just a moment, but if all of that self-development has got you exhausted this early in the week, let's slow down and have a bit of a laugh. And I think the best thing about Omar Rusks is getting to share them with the ones that we love. So as the ones that I love come and sit down at their chairs and get ready to spill the beans, when a group of friends and family gather around a box of rusks, the memories and the funny stories will flow, especially with this group of friends. So today, let's dig up some old stories and have a bit of a laugh, but not just any stories. I want to hear about some hilarious first times. Dun, dun, dun. Yes, I know. Just laugh, okay, and get it out of your system, and then we can continue as grown-up people. As adults,
I need a rust for this one.
Guys, great chat, first of all. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
you know when your grey matter is starting to like steam and smoke's coming out, we need to just chill out for a moment and have a bit of a laugh. Guys, I'm gonna ask you to please take us back into your own personal journey so I can deflect this away from myself, and we're gonna talk about some of those first times. Nothing too hectic, nothing too intense. I'm gonna start with you, Raul, because you're so excited.
I'm like nervous and scared.
I
What
would
are you
have
gonna ask me?
loved to have a front row seat to see what your reaction was like. No, I would have loved to have been the first person you spoke to after your first kiss, dude. Hey,
Firstly, how old were you? I think that's really to establish.
I do remember it was primary school. I was like, in my era of friends, very late to the game. I was a very nervous, intimidated kid. Like, women just scared me, like you can't imagine.
Hard to picture that.
And I remember it was like the weirdest moment ever. I knew the girl had liked me, and we'd spoken about it, and you had those notes at school. Like,
yeah, at least there was like a path to get there where you had a note indicating I would like an X or an O or whatever.
But I was honestly just so nervous because I was like, I've seen movies, I've spoken to people, but what do you actually do? Like, especially that tongue thing, like, what? Anyway, we eventually managed to build up enough courage, and like, I went in for that, like, you know, the movement.
Where was your first kiss?
It was at a friend's house, actually. I think like the parents were away, and this was like our version of being naughty, so like, we're gonna do a first kiss. Oh, my heart was beating so hard. I can't actually remember how crazy it was, but it was a beautiful moment, and it was liberating. I felt like, I've conquered the world. I wanted to tell all my friends at the same time, but I can't remember what it felt like. It was more like an emotion, but it was
Think about it, it's such a coming of age kind of part of the journey. That's very sweet, dude. That's very, very sweet. I hope you can remember her name.
I do, yeah.
First time on TV, Zoe, can you remember?
Okay, first time ever on TV.
You did mistake say teen, which must have been televised.
It was televised, but I think my first time on this very show was on the 1st of June 2015, and I'll never forget that because that December prior, I said to myself, I'm giving myself 6 months to get onto TV, and then boom, my first day was the 1st of June.
Oh, and what I love the most, like in the pre-production build-up, they invite Zoe in, we're like, oh, okay, Zoe, Graham, you kind of met during the process and everything, but she's here and everything. I'm like, great, and we're at the sound recording studio. Kat walks in and like, okay, you guys are going to record the theme song of Expresso. Sing it, go. And Zoe's looking at me like, I can't sing. I'm like, welcome to the club, baby.
I don't know the words.
And we did it, hey? We got in the sound booth and recorded it and sang it. I will never forget that. That's where you proved to be a
trial by fire.
Exactly.
Can I tell you what happened? So then they used the sound clip. They cut myself and Graham's voices out. I'm like, why were we even there? We know Kat's the singer amongst the
moral
two of
support.
us.
I think they often forget that's the case, man, but we are here for it. I'll still sing it. Do you want me to sing? And I'll put this to both of you, but I've got to kind of throw it first to you, Zoe. Meeting the parents for the first time with your partner, because obviously the stakes are slightly higher for you in this case.
Oh, it was actually so special. So his parents were working at a market in KZN in Durban. So we flew into Durban, and it was nice because we had a braai planned with his family, but just to break the ice, we swung past the market, went to go say hello. His mom, you know when the mom just gives you the biggest hug, and you're like, okay, this is not as intimidating as I
Oh,
thought it would
for
be.
sure, yeah.
All the ice is broken.
And it was just, I think the love coming from his mom and dad, I was just, oh, there's nothing to be nervous about. It was
fine.
just such a beautiful, wholesome moment.
But remember, like, this is boy children, parents have grown up with that boy child. So when a girl or a guy comes into that space, they're like, yes, thank you, Lord, he's gonna be okay. Because they know exactly what we're like, okay? Oh, I love it. I'm still buzzing off your little first kiss.
I'm still playing it in my head. I was like, that moment of just like,
You got the 30 or the 70. Don't go down that rabbit hole. We absolutely love reminiscing. And of course, dunking a rusk. And I bought little buckies for our rusk.
Oh, nice.
Next
I
on
like
the
this.
table. Well, Chad did. Thank you so much, Chad. Now it's your guys' turn to share and win in the process. If you want to enter this week's competition, tell us who is the one person that brings the most joy and laughter into your life. And it's worth going through this exercise regardless. Enter on the Expresso Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram pages, and you've got to use the important hashtag #MoreThanARusk. And then one lucky person will win an Omar Rusk's hamper plus 2,000 Rand in cash. Terms and conditions can be found on expressoshow.com. I love it.
It was kind of like this, like a...
Got it. Yeah, I got this.
There is more in every dip with Oma Rusks.
Only you can make my day.
Watch South Africa versus Scotland live in France in a once-in-a-lifetime rugby experience brought to you by Clover. Catch the box in rugby's ultimate showpiece, hosted by Springbok legend Skulk Burger. 5 lucky winners and their partners will be winging their way to France. Plus, take a cruise to the Mediterranean island paradise of Ibiza. Buy any Clover product to enter. Watch Expresso Breakfast Show every weekday morning for more information on how you can win.
Made with love by Clover. It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. Let's talk a little sport. Important sport right now. The A1 Paddle Tour heads to Sweden next week for the 8th step on this year's calendar, and it's been its biggest year yet, undoubtedly. Adam van Harta will be representing South Africa at the tournament. Let that sink in, Adam, having come a very long way in a very short amount of time. So a wildcard entry into the opening leg in Cape Town back in February. Van Harta caught the eye and was invited on tour by the owner of the A1 Paddle League. That's how you do it. And Adam is with us this morning to chat a bit more about this incredible journey. And he is joined by the director of the Cape Town tournament, Luke Potter, who looks as proud as a father, dad, eh?
I'm super stoked.
Super stoked.
Super happy.
This is incredible. Adam, let me start with you, buddy. Congratulations.
Thank you.
It must be weird because everyone's talking about paddle now. Everyone's like, it's great, it's fitness, it's great. Now suddenly your life is changing because of paddle. How much has changed? How are you doing, kid?
So much. I was actually chatting to...
You're allowed to say that.
Yeah, I can, bro. I'm 99.
I was actually chatting to a friend yesterday about it, about how much my life has changed in the past couple of months because, I mean, a year ago this time, the sport wasn't even in my life.
What?
And to think about it now, how much everything has changed, I mean, I can't imagine my life without it.
Yeah, completely. But so what existing sports framework did you have coming into this? Because clearly there is a gift there. Were you playing tennis? Were you a cricket player? What informed this journey to get you to this plug-and-play point?
Yeah, so when I was younger, I played a lot of sports. I played tennis, soccer, cricket, but my main sport growing up was tennis.
Okay.
So I have a big tennis background.
Oh, man. Oh, now you get to plug that into a whole different world. This is what we wanted to see. When we first started speaking about the structures of development within a sport and how much this could change lives and all these things, I expected to have this conversation with you maybe 4 or 5 years down the line.
7
Not
months.
right now. 7 months. So what is this a manifestation of? What's going on here, Luke?
You're moving in the right direction. I think that's the ultimate thing that we're doing here. We spoke, to your point, early Feb. We said we need to get somebody on the tour. Ironically, we've got Adam going now, which, you know, you'll actually form part of the tour, but we've got 2 qualifiers, Keegan Roy and Jason Milner-Blakey. So technically, we've got 3 people representing South Africa in an international event. I mean, that is something, huh?
Well, it's something to terrify most of us, my brother. When you look at the level that these guys are playing at, we take a recreational sport that everyone feels that they can play, and you add a nuance and a level of skill that's just off the charts, my friend. How much has your game had to evolve and change over the last few months now that you're stepping into that world?
Yeah, a lot. But I think we're not that far away.
Really?
I think we're catching up. I think we're going in the right direction. And now it's all about the exposure on the international scale now. But yeah, I think it's not long before South Africa is right up there.
Take us into that space, because you kind of get the feeling all bets are off. As a weekend warrior, you kind of feel like you could step on court and just do it. You could get into that space and do it. What are your projections, your hopes for yourself? What do you want to get out of this opportunity?
At the moment, it's just, you know, taking it all in, absorbing as much as I can and learning as much as I can.
Learn, yeah.
That's my main goal at the moment.
And long may that reign, dude, because the best in the world never tap out of that spirit of learning. This is purely what we want to see. What do we need more of to see more Adams come through?
We need a lot of more coaching. We need international coaches coming through more often. Obviously, you know, these things come at a huge cost.
Yeah.
These guys are also playing themselves. There's other tours that they're part of. So to come to South Africa, again, let's not forget, it's been around since 1969. Adam tongue-in-cheek says we're quite close. We're still some way off. Of course, we've got development in terms of women. We haven't even touched on there. We have to get into schools again. There's a lot of work that we've got to do. However,
It's a fast forward. I love this. And this is the joy of sport. It ties all the elements of life together beautifully, but then we get these spirit animals like Adam going there and proving what you can actually do if you back yourself and you got the right people in your corner. I absolutely love it, buddy, but we want to see you in action. So we've got a really fit young man of our own here, so we're going to throw you guys together and have a little bit of fun. But setting Adam so much positive energy as he goes to take on the best in the world. Next stop is Sweden. No, in fact, next stop is a little bit of fitness for Al.
Oh, yes, bring it on. After that conversation, I'm absolutely inspired. So we're going to get Luke and the rest of the gang out here to help us maybe with our pedal game, right? So before doing any high-impact physical activity, it's obviously vital to do an initial warm-up first. Now, this obviously helps prepare your body, improve blood flow, elevate temperature, and lessen physical risks of injury. And this applies to all physical activities, including paddle. So here to take us through some of these exercises, we've got Luke Potter, the professional paddle player, Adam van Harte also here, and they are together going to be elevating our paddle game, I hope, but also going through the warm-up. Cheers, firstly, this is incredible stuff, dude. Amazing, well done. Thanks, I'm backing you. I'm that guy that picked up paddle a few months ago and now thinks I'm like this guy, but I'm still learning every single move that you can, but absolutely addicted because it's so much fun. I encourage everybody out there to play this game. It is such a joy. But what are we doing here? How are we getting warmed up first?
Well, listen, let's start. If you're as old as myself and Graham, we're not talking about that. You know.
She does speak so loud.
We're not talking about it. But if you definitely have a stretch. Obviously, time is not our friend here. So we're just going to go through some basic drills that you would do just to get the eye in, because, you know, obviously, the two things that you have to do is get the feet working. Yeah. You know, if you can't get to the ball, you can't hit it. Yes. And then second of all, obviously, we want to get the eye in and make sure that you're seeing the ball the same size as a soccer ball effectively. Okay, because that's two things I've definitely noticed. There's a lot of running, a lot of counter directions coming off of the wall, and then you've got to focus just to hit the thing, because it's anywhere and everywhere. All right, so how do we do this? How are we doing? Okay, so the first exercise that we're going to do is quite simple. Okay. In fact, we're going to imagine this is a net.
All right.
And Adam, obviously, we're just going to, you know, Adam's going to be standing on that side. We're going to give you a chance at this as well. I mean, we've got our local professional.
Show us how it's supposed to look first.
Okay, so it's just a forearm volley just to get nice and into that. And keeping that racket head nice and up and making sure that your eye is nice and in. Adam, let's go backhand. You see, and you just move it across the backhand. Adam is very nimble there.
So this is obviously getting your hand-eye coordination together.
100%.
And I see your shots are sort of like a general shot playing style. Is there any variation between the way you play tennis from your background and what you would do in paddle?
So tennis is very big strokes. Effectively, if you look at paddle, you're playing at 180 degrees off your hip. So we don't want to make those really massive movements because remember, there's glass behind you. As soon as you go too far back, you're going to hit something. So that is quite an important...
So our man's over here wouldn't have one of those noises because you don't need that.
Well, somehow they've got it as well. That's the weirdest thing. But listen, you've got to try this.
Oh, is it?
You've got to try this. You've got to try this. It's,
okay.
Let
me go up against the pro. Whoa. The nerves here are real. Okay, so just forehand shot.
Let's just go
over the net.
Just forehand, yeah.
Just forehand. There we go. Nice. I mean, that eye's in already.
Oh, look at me. I'm playing with a pro. Yeah.
Lovely, lovely.
Should we go backhand?
Okay, let's try.
Don't choke now, huh?
Nice.
Are you a natural, man?
Oh, it's the pressure on the cameras, I'm telling you. This doesn't always happen. Oh, okay.
Alrighty.
Okay.
Keep going. Beautiful. Whoa.
Whoa. Oh, okay.
Listen, please don't take him out. You cannot harm him before the tournament. I mean,
even though I gave him the wildest shot, he's there, he's ready. I want to ask you, though, I know you have these questions on TV. You've got this tennis background. What helps you improve this coordination? What gets you to really dial in on your focus when it comes to these big tournaments when you're representing our country? Because that's quite intimidating, man. The nerves can really kind of take over in that moment. How do you deal with that?
Yeah, that's a big thing. I think the main thing for me is just to shut it all out. A lot of people say take in the moment, which is absolutely right. But when you're actually on the stage, you just kind of forget about everything, and it's just you and the three other guys on the court. Okay, nice. It's the biggest step,
and while we have you here, I know this is fitness, but I think a lot of people have this question, especially those starting out in the game. Sure. Very, very used to maybe returning a ball, but what is the best tip when it comes to playing a ball off the glass or off the wall, do you run up and get as close as you can? Do you slow down and pay attention and watch?
Sure.
What's the general rule there? Is there a rule?
So you don't want to obviously rush the wall because it's going to ping off it though.
Yeah.
And the very 2 or 3 key things is definitely turn square always so that you can see the ball.
Okay.
And you always want to get behind it. So you want to go in with it and then come out with it and get to the original spot that you were at. So that's very key. If you're going to run like a headless chicken, the ball will take control of you.
Composure, people.
Composure.
All right, let's keep practicing. I'm loving this. My eyes getting in here.
You ready?
Let's go. We're here with the champ. All right. Backhands. Whoop.
Whoa,
Oh,
whoa, whoa.
there we go. Nice, Mzansi, and of course, while we're at this, you can see how much fun we're having, and we're just playing in like a square meter section. The court is huge, it's lots of fun, it's a social game, and it's something that you will all love, and maybe even so, get to a point where you can represent the country like this man over here, doing the absolute best. Woo, nice, bro. Yes. Yes! Yes!
You want to try?
Coach, thank you so much. Brother, I wish you nothing but the best of luck in your tournament. I'm so proud of you. I'm so inspired, and I think Mzansi is too. You're doing incredible things. Keep serving. And yeah, nothing but the best of luck. Mzansi, I hope you enjoyed this. Maybe we'll see some of you on the court. I don't know. Let's pedal.
Pedal.
Now you can generously give a voice to Storytime. Visit our library of homegrown audio stories at cadbury.co.za.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. Let's hone in on discipline this morning. It doesn't have to be a big, scary thing. In fact, it could be what unlocks your potential when it comes to discipline techniques, setting boundaries and healthy routines for our kids. I think it's safe to say everyone's parenting style is different. Most of us feel like we are failing. You're going to join that club pretty soon, I have no doubt. No parenting experience is the same. As many would say, there are no manuals to parenting. Unfortunately, I did ask, and there aren't any.
No, there aren't. So on the couch today, we have counsellors Sarah Everett and mom and daughter duo Linka and Nika Pelser. They are joining us today. I'm very excited for this conversation because, you know, online, I'm that person that see all the mommy bloggers online
The
talking
version
about
of mommy, yeah.
gentle parenting and positive parenting, and then some parents, you know, they get pushed the boundaries where they're like, okay, gentle parenting, I'm canceling Christmas, gentle parenting. But is it something that's easy? Is it something that perhaps is coming natural to parents these days, or is it something you need to learn?
Definitely. So I'm not a parent myself, but I obviously work with a lot of teenagers and pre-teens. So it's definitely something, I think, post-COVID that's made it even more tough, you know, parents having to first look at themselves, calm down enough to show their children, you know, how do they model that positive environment and create that safety. So I think it's a hard task.
But it forces you to kind of get your own stuff in check, which is really difficult. So, Nick, I'm going to start with you. Does your mom have her stuff in check? She does. I love that emphatic answer. Do you feel like your house is one that's run on discipline, or is that something that's just there, but you don't really have to be conscious or think too much about it? Is Mom a disciplinarian?
Yes, she is.
She is. How does that make you feel? What is that experience like?
It's very nice. It's like I can have my own responsibilities.
I love that.
Linka, I feel like I need to ask you there. I think for any parent, giving their children those freedoms doesn't come naturally or easily at times because you always want to protect them.
Yeah.
But how do you prepare yourself to be like, okay, she's old enough now to handle that responsibility? How do you relinquish that ease? I don't want to use the word control because you are raising an independent child.
But you're responsible for that.
But, but I am kind of like a helicopter mom.
Okay.
Okay.
So inside it's screaming, no, no, no. Outside you're like, yes. And you're like, please don't. But yeah, I would just say we communicate on a daily level. And we speak about all kinds of things. And I think it's very important for me to know where she is emotionally and where I am emotionally. And then we talk through it, whether it's a situation we have to do or that we've been through. We discuss everything. And then we find a way to move forward or take the positives or learn from the bad experiences, and we discuss it. So everything is a discussion. And she knows exactly what I expect from her. And what his expectations is.
So as much as there is a balance of power in terms of the bigger picture, in the moment, it's an equal sharing of responsibility because there's input coming from both sides. How important is that for the development and growth for both parties to be able to share that? I mean, I found it with my son to ask for his advice. He learns things so much more quickly than if I tell him my advice. And there's a lot of telling, you can imagine, for me. Why is it so important that the communication is where you start?
So I think the communication comes from helping them also see the natural consequences of things. You know, so if there's something that happens, you know, like if I pick up something and it falls, it breaks, you know, what's happened there? Ask them, you know, what could you have done differently? How could you have maybe not let that happen again in the future? So that's to engage them in obviously conversation first, and then talk maybe a little bit about why, you know, we don't want them to break things or to hurt themselves.
And you make it normal for them to constantly, for both of us, to be assessing.
And questioning.
And questioning, assess, question, move forward. I love that,
So I have a lot of friends who now have kids, and it's interesting to observe the different parenting styles. So, Linka, I'm going to start with you. Is structure and routine something you were very big on? And then perhaps, Sarah, we can answer from the counselor's perspective why it's important, perhaps, to introduce a structure or to have more flexibility in the household. So, Linka, let's start off with you.
Okay, it also depends on where we are. So like now, we're on school holidays, so my routine is not. But yes, I'm very strict on routine and structure when the school starts to follow through with it. So it also provides security and stability for Nika. So she knows exactly when to wake up, what to do when she pack the lunch, you know, etc., go to school. So that gives them structure, and I feel that makes them feel secure. But over the holidays, like now, we're more lenient. So I think, it depends on every parent, but when it's go time, we're on structure and routine very much. But if it's holidays, I'm more flexible.
Nika, maybe I can put this to you, sorry, to just interject very quickly. Who's in control here? Does it feel like you control the flow of your life, or do you feel like Mom kind of gives you the information and you fit within that? How does it feel to you?
It feels nice as well. Like, she gives me the responsibilities, and I do understand what I must do. So I do them.
Okay.
It's a choice, and I love that. Because I think the most disempowering thing, and something that's in my conscious parenting journey, is like, don't force. If I can't figure out how to explain and motivate why you should be doing this, then the whole thing falls down. Why is that so important to have that structure?
I think if I can maybe just piggyback off of what already is happening, which is amazing. So I think it's the collaboration, working together on that structure. You know, so they don't feel like, you know, mom wants me to do that. It's actually something I've said I want to do that as well. And yeah, I think the flexibility holiday is very good, and I'm very proud that she's awake so early. Especially in the holidays.
Smashing it on your holiday. I'm so sorry that we didn't do during your holidays. You have nailed it. Well done. Thank you so much.
Oh, fantastic. Well, I just want to thank our incredible panel for joining us today. And there you go, different parenting styles. We just wanted to highlight that for you in terms of just self-development, our theme for today. We want to make sure that you are the best version of yourself.
Yeah, let's bring some tips through and help you become the best version of yourself right now. So we asked you this morning, what's the best piece of advice that you can share about discipline in your life? And we asked you to send some voice notes or WhatsApps or anything on our socials. And we've got some comments for you, Mzansi, starting off with Chevy Sevodia, who says, happy Monday all. It's always be kind, no matter what you're facing. Expresso Show, keep up the amazing work. We've also got Clarissa Miller saying, good morning. Honesty is the most important, then discipline will follow. I like that, switching things up a bit there. The comments continue. We got Teresa Micah, who says, good morning. My favorite beautiful Expresso fam, never address issues while still angry. At least apply the 24-hour cooling off period rule. Stay blessed, fam. Love always. I like that one, yeah. Don't let your emotions take over. Take your time. Calm down, and then you can address it. I love these comments, Mzansi. Keep it coming through. We've got a WhatsApp line as well. It's 063-408-8863. We've also got Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, you name it. We're sending us all over the world, and we want to hear from you. But for now, though, we're going to carry on serving you, and it's all about discipline and helping you elevate yourself to the next level.
Do you have the best son in the world? If he held your heart from the day he called you mum or dad, then now is your chance to show how much he means to you. Nominate him to stand a chance to win a daily cash prize of 2,000 Rand, which Bernardo SA is giving away weekdays from the 26th of June to the 7th of July. And all you have to do is enter by replying to the competition post that is posted on the Expresso Facebook page, Expresso Instagram page, or the Expresso Twitter page during the competition period. Remember to use hashtag Bernardo SA and hashtag a dose of care in your answer. T's and C's apply. Bonjour. If you're as excited about the Rugby World Cup in France as we are, then listen up. Total Energies has an amazing opportunity just for you. You can join the Total Energies Loyalty Club today. Spend 700 Rand or more, then you stand a chance to win double tickets to the highly anticipated South Africa versus Ireland game on the 23rd of September in France. So get down to your nearest Total Energies today to make sure that you do not miss out on the experience of a lifetime. That competition closes on the 15th of July, so get on it. All the T's and C's do apply.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. It is your feel-good breakfast show, Expresso on S3, and today is all about that self-development and self-discipline. We've ticked the box on self-discipline, mastering parenting. Up next, we still have to take a look at managing your own time. But for now, let's quickly catch up with those morning headlines. Here's Ryle.
Thank you so much, Zoe. Yes, it's just about to go on the hour, and it's time to head off and start with national news headlines. Now, the organizers have issued an apology after a jockey protest led to the suspension of the last 3 races at Saturday's Durban July. Now, an unexpected power outage led to the suspension of the races, and the power outage was apparently contrary to arrangements made with the Durban Metro. Now, the jockeys reportedly cited unsafe conditions as the reason for their refusal to participate further. And a full investigation has been launched, and Winchester Mansion won the main race with Capello Machinane in the saddle, and the favorite, See It Again, was second, with Bless My Stars coming in third. Well, sticking to national headlines right now, the head of communications for AmaZulu King, Misuzulu Kazweletini, Prince Africa Zulu, has disputed a statement by the traditional Prime Minister, Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi, that the Zulu monarch is unwell and receiving treatment in a hospital in Eswatini. Now, he said the king was merely visiting his uncle, King Mswati III, and underwent a thorough medical examination. Now, the Zulu royal family has also rejected the claims that King Misuzulu Kazweletini was hospitalized in Eswatini following suspected poisoning. Well, from our national headlines, we head over to international news. Now, the Iranian government has refused to send a new ambassador to Sweden after a protester burnt a Quran outside a mosque in the capital of Stockholm. Now, an Iranian-born refugee burnt the Muslim holy book outside a mosque on the first day of Eid al-Adha. Now, Swedish police charged him with agitation against an ethnic or national group. And meanwhile, Sweden's government has condemned the burning of a Quran outside Stockholm's main mosque, calling it an Islamophobic act. Well, sticking to international headlines right now, the United Nations Security Council has unanimously decided to terminate its peacekeeping mission in Mali. Now, the Council adopted a resolution requesting the UN multidimensional integrated stabilization mission in Mali to immediately begin ceasing its operations with the objective of completing the process by the end of the year. Now, the drawdown of the 13,000-strong peacekeeping force comes after years of operation tensions with the Malian junta that has governed the West African nations since 2020 coup. Well, lastly in our headlines, interesting story indeed. Hachiko, the faithful dog that continued to wait for its master at a train station in Japan long after his death, would have been 100 years old this year. Now, the legendary canine has been memorialized in everything from books to movies. And in 2009, Richard Gere played the leading role in Hachiko, A Dog's Tale. Now, a bronze statue of Hachiko stands outside Shibuya Station in Tokyo, where he waited in vain for longer than a decade for his master's return, who had passed away unexpectedly at a school where he was teaching. Now, a series of events this year in Japan will commemorate his 100th birthday. Well, I'll leave you with the rest of the headlines. It's time to dive into the sport, and the G-Man has the latest.
Thank you so much, Ryle. Let's start with footballing news. Not the best kind of story we like to report on this early in the week, but in a bold act of defiance, Banyana has refused to play their scheduled friendly match against Botswana at the Tsakane Stadium, and this happened yesterday. So according to SABC Sport, the South African women's national football team, set to compete in the 2023 FIFA World Cup, desire a more fitting send-off as they have taken a stand against the chosen venue. And I think rightfully so, according to a lot lot of the press. The players insisted on a stadium with greater significance, preferably one that hosted matches during the 2010 FIFA World Cup. Now, Banyana's head coach, Desiree Ellis, as a result, named a second-string team for that fixture with the makeshift side, losing 5-0 on the day. Now, on the other end of that spectrum, it's all abuzz in the transfer market at the moment, and Liverpool confirmed the signing of Dominik Szoboszlai from RB Leipzig on Sunday after paying the Hungarians €70 million fee. The 22-year-old will further bolster the Reds' midfield options after, of course, the arrival of Argentine World Cup winner Alexis McAllister last month. Liverpool were in the market to refresh their midfield after a below-par fifth-place finish in the Premier League last season. Just thought I'd reinforce that one last time, and saw them miss out on the Champions League, most importantly, for the first time in 7 years. Now, Szoboszlai, he scored 20 goals, but I think it's the 22 assists in his 91 games for Leipzig since joining in January of 2021 that have got the Reds' interest. And then, of course, we stay in that neck of the woods for a battle royale culminating yesterday. Australia won the second thrilling Ashes test at Lord's by 43 runs, despite a stunning century from England captain Ben Stokes that was supercharged by the controversial dismissal of Johnny Bairstow. You can decide for yourself. So Stokes made a remarkable 155 before he was eventually dismissed, with England 70 runs shy of a steep 371 target. England were eventually dismissed for 327, but it was the dismissal of Bairstow that incited the fury of the sold-out Lord's crowd as he wandered out of his ground after ducking a Cameron Green bouncer, and there were many bouncers. And a quick-thinking wicketkeeper Alex Carey then underarmed the ball onto the stumps, but Bairstow had thought he had secured the ground by tapping his bat behind the crease, but was ultimately given out. Watch that space. We know how the Ashes is going to bring up a little bit of heat. Now, speaking of heat, it's all burning at the top of the table in Formula One. Red Bull's Max Verstappen continued his imperious march towards a third world title with another dominant victory at the Austrian Grand Prix this time. So the Dutchman's fifth win on the trot moves him now 81 points clear of teammate Sergio Perez in the championship. Behind him, excitement was provided by a battle for that podium and between Perez and Ferrari's Leclerc, who ultimately won it thanks partly to stalwart defense from his teammate Carlos Sainz. That was before Perez took third. But a stellar weekend of sports, and it's not even all up and running again. But that's where we leave it for now. The roads should be waking up, and I think Zoe's got the latest on what you can look out for, and then a bit on the weather front.
Thank you, Graham. Well, let's take a look at your roads. Starting off in Germiston, Johannesburg, there's been a multi-vehicle accident. It's on the N3 southbound after the Geldenhuys interchange. 2 lanes are closed. There's slow-moving traffic being reported. And then in Cape Town, in Somerset West, there's a vehicle broken down on the N2 outgoing. It's after the hairpin bend on Sir Lowry's Pass. The left lane is closed. No delays being reported, but please be careful if you are heading in that direction. That's your traffic. Let's take another look at your weather. And we bring you a news update. The police's search and rescue team has found 3 bodies of people who were missing in Namaqualand in the Northern Cape after heavy rain and flooding in the area last week. It was reported yesterday morning that 5 people are still being searched for. Several communities are still cut off from the outside world after roads were washed away. The area affected by the flooding includes the towns of Springbok, Foilsdrift, Komaggas and Kleinzee. The Namakwa municipality says a helicopter has been deployed to help transport goods to the village affected. Road infrastructure was badly damaged and several important transport routes have been closed. These include the N7, R352 and the R355. Well, that is your latest news update. Let's take a look at your temperatures for today. Starting off in Polokwane, your low is 7, your high 22. Mbombela 8, 26. A sunny day for Pretoria, 10 with a high of 21. Johannesburg 8 with a high of 19. Mahikeng sunny 8 with a high of 22. Klerksdorp 6, 22. If you're in Kimberley, your low is 10, your high 21. Bloemfontein 4:20, Richards Bay 13:26, Pietermaritzburg 8:27, Durban 15 with a high of 24, a sunny day from Mthatha 9 with a high of 25, East London 12:23, Cradock 3 with a high of 23. If you're in Gqeberha, your low is 15, your high 20. George, 11, 20, in fact 17. If you're in Cape Town today, your low is 11, your high 19. Worcester, 6, 24. Sutherland, 2 with a high of 17. And Uppington, a sunny day with a low of 11 and a high of 25 degrees Celsius. Well, it is 7 a.m. Let's take a look at those sunrise views that you share. And we're going to start off in Sandton. Razine is enjoying this blissful morning and shared the photo with us. Kimberly, in fact, Colleen in Kimberley is enjoying hot coffee while watching the sky change some colors. Then we have Maureen in Alberton sending through so much love to her Feel Good Breakfast show. Thank you for that. And then Donnae in Port Alfred is standing on her balcony feeling so happy and looking at those tones of the sky, and we love it. Thank you so much. Well, if you have a good morning photo to share with us, one of those sunrise views, we would love to see it. Our number to share it with is 063 408 8863.
All right, the time has come. I'm chilling with the man of the hour, someone that you might remember from possibly roughly a year ago or not. Any clues yet? Well, let's find out. We're joining us right now on the Expresso stage is the South African rock singer Keenan Eckstein in the building. And he's a passionate singer, a songwriter, and has some impressive credits already under his belt. And he's been performing in and around Cape Town for the past year, and now he's year ahead of his release of his debut album, Golden Fever, and his month-long European tour. So let's give him a feel-good welcome! Yeah! Bro, how you doing, man?
Fine, thanks to yourself, man.
So good. Listen, I remember you from last year, man. Dixie Cloud, you came and performed it right here in your Feel Good Breakfast show.
Indeed.
And it was insane. People were speaking about your vibe, your character. You've got some unique sort of a modern flair mixed with this old school rock. And we're here for it. How's the evolution of your music and your journey been since then, dude? Because you've been on a journey, right?
Yeah, I'd say since we got on stage and have had the opportunity to play and whatnot, there's been a much more like a mind expansion. You know, what can we write? What can we do? What feels right live? So definitely expanding.
Yeah, and the response from the people, what's that been like for you? Overwhelming? Underwhelming?
No. So far, so good. So far, so good, luckily. Okay. But we're always hungry for more, you know.
Always hungry for more. And clearly he is, because he's back on stage once again, serving us and giving us a gift, because this is an exclusive performance. Never been done before. It's been written before, but never been performed. So, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy this one. Maze of Me by Keenan Eckstein. Take it away. Yow!
I know I've seen it all, might be just a dream you asked me to, so here it is. I'll show you what it's all about. Is he? People say and see me upon my name. You walk through the maze of so enter, try and take it slow. There's a lot you need to know.
Making an iced cappuccino with thick creamy froth is now impressively easy. Jacobs.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Oh, yes, Mzansi, welcome back to Feel Good Breakfast Show. It is Monday, if you were wondering what's happening, and we are serving you and giving you everything you need to help you focus and get your discipline on. Now, we are talking about time management right now, and in time management, it's inevitable that self-discipline is important. Without self-discipline, how can you expect to be motivated, enthusiastic, and most importantly, independent?
Well, we have brought our experts back. We have Dr. Steve Harris as well as Roxy Davis in studio with us. And what we have is there's an Instagrammer that's brought out a couple of videos. And this Instagrammer is Mary Studies 2. And she has put together a couple of tips and tricks to help kickstart that and also build a better you when it comes to time management. So we thought we would love to hear your opinions on this as we take a look at one of these videos and then we can discuss it further.
Well, it's not necessarily a video, but it is based on setting goals correctly, right? And this is something important. It's about when you know when to start setting your goals. When is it important to set them correctly? And you can use something called SMART goals, which is specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. So SMART is a nice sort of is it an acronym? Is that what we call it? Yes?
Yes.
Yeah, all right. A great acronym to kind of follow. What do you guys make of this? Is this something that we could use as a guideline? We've got to verify and make sure that this checks out with our experts as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're serving Mzansi here. So Doc, what do you think about this one? Obviously, making sure that these goals are smart, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely.
I have a view.
Okay.
And the view is formed by the sport analogy.
Okay.
And I use rugby.
Okay.
80 minutes. You've got to play the game, to enjoy it, to win it, or whatever. We've sort of got 80 years to play our game. You know, and it's crucial in my world to say, well, how much of that time have I used? Am I in the last 5 minutes of the game? Am I halfway? How relevant is the goal that I've been setting to my life? Am I merely being like a hamster on a hamster wheel, spinning better, spinning faster, but seeing the same stuff all the time until I die, until the final whistle comes? So I think there's one step back before even SMART goals, is to say to yourself, in this game of life, whether or not I believe in an afterlife is irrelevant. This is the one, you won't remember the previous one anyway, so maybe you don't. Different subject. Controversial?
I love it.
Careful. But why would you have a fetish on time management when it's really life management? How are you managing your life? Oh, let's get through the kids and the school so that I can die.
Yeah. What's the point?
What's the point? Well, we are tackling these different tips. I love that. I love how we can, you know, view your life like a rugby game. I know a lot of people love watching rugby. Now, Roxy, when it comes to being wise with your time in terms of prioritizing, you are, in my mind, super mom, juggling so many different hats. How do you prioritize wisely so that you dedicate enough time to each of the things that requires your attention?
I think, yeah, juggling hats, being a mom with 3 kids and running business and doing multiple different things, the first thing actually goes back to that discussion of self-love and self-care. So how I manage my time is through putting that back into my life. So I'll go into the water and I will surf. And what that actually does for me in a recreational sense and not a competitive sense is the surfing brings silence. And through that silence, I get clarity of thought. And that is where everything comes right. And then through that clarity of thought, I get creativity and then productivity from that. So it's the way that self-love and self-care that I can give back to myself so I can be a better mom, a better businesswoman, a better entrepreneur. And that's where it starts from.
I like this. Now, another thing that really stands out is when we are pursuing these goals, discipline, something we're wanting to unlock and achieve, how hyper-focused do we need to be on this goal? How much of our lives does this thing need to take up? Let's say there's a pie and there's percentages. How much percent does this thing need to take up in my entire 80 minutes of life that you mentioned there, Doc? Is it important to maybe take a break every now and then? Should we every day wake up and steer towards this relentlessly? Or do you think that we should maybe incorporate balance along the way? What's your perspective on that?
I guess it's an and rule. Some people that works. It doesn't work for me. I believe in loose, fast properties. Yes, I need a schedule. I'm going to go and give a talk in Johannesburg. I'm coming to Expresso at some ungodly hour in the morning.
Who did that to you?
Yeah, who? How did I allow that to happen? But I did.
Yeah.
So, but I don't want to lose the opportunities that are coming by me. I don't want to be so fixated in doing well, in winning, in making money, in being a good parent. And I miss the opportunity to go to Bali. Because, oh no, no, I don't have the money. Well, how about just taking out a bond, you know, and do it? Because tomorrow you might be stretched off the game.
I enjoy that analogy of the rugby.
Yeah, that's power.
To your own life.
That's powerful.
And I know we're running out of time here, but I know with all these goals we set for ourselves in prioritizing time, I think something we all forget is to prioritize rest. And I think, you know, that's also something we need to keep in mind. Roxy, just to finish us off, do you manage in that moment of, yes, you prioritize your self-love by having a fun surf, but do you also prioritize your own rest?
I know I should.
Okay.
No, I don't.
We're all there. We're all
appreciate the honesty.
Oh. Well, Roxy, Dr. Steve, thank you for joining us this morning. And for you at home, we just unpacked a couple of ways on how we can be smarter with our time and our intention, and most importantly, do a little bit of time management. And that's all part of this umbrella that today's show is all about self-development and self-discipline.
Oh, thank you so much, team. An incredible chat, lots to digest there. And I suppose in this 80-minute game of life, sometimes we've got to support the young'uns coming into the team and keeping our kids in top health should always be a priority and can be made that much easier with the right team behind us and certainly the right medication. And Dialing Junior gave you guys the chance to win 5,000 Rand to make the recovery process so much sweeter. All you had to do was tell us what sports or extramural activities your kids play at school and how you keep them healthy to perform their best using hashtag Dialing Junior and hashtag Cough-Free Kids. And we had some amazing entrants, but there can be only one winner. So a massive congratulations and round of applause for Elaine Apolzi. Can I get an applause for Elaine Apolzi? Apple Samia, I'm so sorry there. So Elaine is amazing, and she put through the most amazing comment as well. She said, my boy, Dre Pakri, is a swimmer, and it's a big concern, especially during these winter months, but Dialing helps keep the coughs at bay so my boy can keep bringing home the gold, baby. Hashtag Dialing Junior, hashtag Cough-Free Kids. Well, we've got the amazing mom, Elaine, on the line right now to celebrate this incredible win, because I think she's used to winning with a boy like that. Elaine, a very good morning. Congratulations. How are you?
Hi, Graham. I am so excited. Oh, my God.
Yay.
Thank you. This is an amazing win. This is such an amazing win. Thank you guys so much.
Well, thank you for being an amazing mom, and it sounds like for having an amazing young man. So obviously
He really is.
What
Such a
about your son
superstar.
do you love the most? Because he sounds so cool.
It's not even his achievements. I could go on for days, but the thing that makes my son so amazing is his heart. He's got more than his gold medals. He's got a heart of gold, first and foremost. He's got a heart for his friends, for the needy, for everybody else. And I think that's what makes him a winner, really. And then everything else is just a bonus in his life. And thanks to Dialing, because I promise you, we've talked about Dialing this year only, and it's been a game changer. We love it.
Oh, I absolutely love that, because with young kids, I know they are exposed. I call my son the petri dish, who just comes home with whatever sickness is going around the school at the time. I love the fact that you keep him in the fight, and now you have got an added bonus of 5,000 Rand to celebrate with. What are you going to spend the money on?
Well, first of all, my boy's going to get the biggest allowance of his life. He deserves it. And then, well, we bought the house 2 years ago, and since then it feels like we just work to pay bills. So the rest of the money we're going to spoil my family and do fun things instead of just paying bills. We're going to enjoy it, every single cent of it.
You definitely have earned that. Please give Dre a massive hug from the Expresso family. You are now officially part of that family, and we cannot wait to see more of the achievements that you guys are going to conquer as a family.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Graham. Thank you to the team, Expresso, thank you, Dialing. Thank you, everybody. We are so excited. Thank you.
Oh, man. Elaine Apolsami, Dre's very proud mom. Congratulations to the both of you. Coughs and phlegm are no joke. We know that. It's time to take the fight seriously with Dialing Junior.
Bespoke.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. It is your Feel Good Breakfast Show Expresso on S3. I hope you have your morning coffee cup filled up because it's time to hit pause.
It's time to hit pause with Jacobs.
Oh, yes. Time to hit pause, gentlemen. We have made sure you have a hot cuppa in front of you. Because this morning we are all about indulging in a little bit of drinking the Jacobs Instant Chocolate Hazelnut Cappuccino. It is absolutely delicious. What do you think of it?
It's dangerously good.
I was a little over-enthusiastic with my first sip and breathed it in, literally. So I've been coughing for the last 20 minutes. It is delicious. Wow.
Yeah, man.
It's kind of like a hot chocolate for grown-ups.
Yes.
Yeah, you nailed it on the head there. Nice.
I say grown-ups loosely.
Love it. So today we want to have a bit of a fun challenge, and what we've done, it's all about joy and gratitude, and this is connecting between the two. So what we're going to do is we often think that we feel joy by chance. While this is true, experts also say that when we practice intentional gratitude, we will feel more joyful in our lives.
For sure.
Could not agree more with this one.
Well, that's our trigger in the mornings. I mean, that's what I do, and it seems like across the board in our world, in breakfast TV and breakfast radio, it's the gratitude on the way to work, just thankful, 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 and that kind of brings that positive energy.
It is important.
It elevates the mood for sure.
So we're going to play a little game.
Okay.
I'm going to name 3 things, and you need to tell me what you are most grateful for about them. Are you ready?
Cool, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what are you most grateful for your family? Right. Let's start with you.
Family. I'm grateful for family because, especially with my family, it taught me about the value of connection, sans money, sans anything else. Just having quality time with those that you love can become some of the most incredible memories. And I learned that through my family, that you don't need much, just the people that love you around you.
Yeah, for
Grateful
sure,
for that.
man. Yeah, I think mine is like a lived experience in the moment. I love how, and this is especially for Lynn's, like my kids always give me so much. That's like a well that just keeps producing, which is great. Whether they want to or not, they're giving me that. But it's been so intentional with Lynn's and I to grow and develop each other within this construct of marriage. That has been so impressive to me to see how hard she's working at improving herself and me, and she works very hard to improve me. But it's work. We're putting in the effort, which I haven't done before within relationship, which I'm so proud of. Yeah,
That is special. Okay, well, now we've touched on family. How about this? What are you grateful for? Name 3 things you're grateful for about your career.
Oof, gee, that's easy. I mean, my career is getting to wake up and serve Mzansi. I think I'm grateful that I'm able to be real, to be honest, to be authentic, and be present in my job. I don't have to pretend to do anything else other than just be here with you guys. I mean, that is something I'm absolutely grateful for.
You kind of have to, eh? You don't have a choice, dude. I think you're wired that way, bro. I don't think you could actually be
I'm grateful for that too, man. I really am.
For me, it's the people I work with, hands down. It's not, people wonder how good TV is made. Yes, there's a formula for the construct around that, but it rests on the people. I mean, so you know this through your own emotional experiences over the last couple of weeks. It's the chemistry. It's that, the perfect imperfection and what clicks us all together. And I wake up with the most amazing people every day. Every day. That's it. Except the cameramen, though. But I love you guys most, man. I love you most.
They're incredible. Well, let's continue to practice gratitude. What are you most grateful for about yourself?
Oh, wow. I think because I'm able to play in all these incredible spaces in our country, in our world, I'm grateful for my health. I'm grateful for my physical ability and to be blessed with this incredible vessel that can do so much. And I think we all are blessed with an incredible vessel, and I think we should all be grateful for what we can do with it because, wow, you can literally do anything. Choice is yours.
I'm also grateful for your vessel, man. It's like a talking point for me every day, but I absolutely love it. Now, I think for me, and I talk about it all the time, is that the world has become purpose-driven, and I am purpose-driven. I love the fact that it used to be frustrating to me, where it seemed like no one else was like interested in the bigger picture or helping the person. It was always like a commercial or some kind of kind of other edge to it, but now it feels like the world just wants to help the world, and we've moved into that kind of purpose-driven season, if you will, and I love the fact that I get to be a part of that world, man.
Yeah, just the season.
How did it feel to practice gratitude so early in the morning?
Oh, there's Lindsay phoning me right now to tell
Oh.
me, oh, thank you.
And he didn't put his
You were just
phone
so
on
sweet
silent.
and so nice. But that felt great. Thank you so
Live
much.
TV for you. Well, Lindsay will answer now, I promise you. But
I'm
for
coming,
you,
babe, I'm coming.
I want to encourage you to do the same. Make yourself a cup of coffee, sit somewhere quiet, hit pause, and think about all the things that you are grateful for in your life.
Making a cappuccino with thick creamy froth is now impressively easy.
Oh, now joining us this morning is South African rock singer Keenan Extern, and we are so happy to have him and the band here. So, gents, welcome back. So good to have you here. Just living life on a different level. Now, I'm being unmusical and a bit of an idiot. I need to dumb things down. Yeah, that's where we all fit in. For me to try and understand, I was trying to say we are so privileged to be present for these moments of becoming. So the last time that you were here, we could feel something big. And it was almost like we had to drag you into our TV space to show you off. This morning, you're dragging us into your space. Something is going on in your world. Does it feel like that? Everything is intentional. The band, the covers are amazing. The suit is amazing. Everything about this picture seems to have shifted. Does it feel like that to you?
Most of it feels a little planned. We definitely have intentions, and we try and keep the passion burning, but we also like the little bursts of spontaneous moments as well coming through.
Where is the magic within that?
Right here.
Right here.
I would say.
I love it because it almost feels like a different performance every time. And it must be so weird for you when the same song lives differently with every audience.
Yeah.
How do you kind of prepare for that when you're getting ready for a gig or a platform like this?
I think we just try and get the song as wax as possible, but in the moment, you know, you got to feel the crowd out, and also there's little moments that change about it every now and then. And those are the ones you look out for.
Yeah, that's the organic brilliance in it. And it does help if you're all ridiculously talented as well. Some of them. You can decide which side of the mix. No, they're all absolutely amazing. And they're going to give us what we need on a Monday morning. A little old poison. It's Keenan Extern. Take it away.
Thank you.
Ooh.
Seen it burn, my dear, I felt the flame. Yet here I am playing the same old game. I'll end up safe, my dear, just shine your light. Sadly, that old poison's back with me tonight. Might be the end. Gently she flows, running through my blood. Off you go now, honey, goodbye, my love. See it burn, my dear, I felt the flame. Yet here I am playing the same old game. I'll end up safe, my dear, just shine your light. Sadly,
you were all amazing. No, one of you was a little bit off, but the rest made up for it, man. That was brilliant. No, you were all phenomenal. Thank you so much, Kieran. Extian in the house. Download, download, download. When it's local, download it because it's lekker. He ain't going nowhere. The band is sticking around. One more performance coming your way. Thank you, Jay. Beautiful.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for rejoining the conversation. Yes, we are focused on discipline at the moment, and that manifests in a number of different ways, especially when it comes to our money. So let's talk a little money and face some hard truths right now. So July is National Savings Month, believe it or not, a month dedicated to encouraging South Africans to save and invest more. And our team at Nedbank have filmed a beautiful 1-minute video titled Reality Check, which promises to give us just that. So we have personally not seen this video yet, so let us all watch this together, have a lived, shared experience. Take a look.
I'm Frank.
Hello,
How can I
Frank.
help you? What would you like?
My name is Max. I'm here to save you.
How are you?
Can I please have sparkling water? And what are you having?
Can I please get an orange juice?
Now we've got cutlery.
Yay!
Okay, you may or may not want the salad, but well, they said put it there anyway, so.
No.
Ah,
Sorry, Mr. Frank.
no problem.
Sorry. Tidy up.
Is everything okay here?
Don't you think Frank is too old to be working here?
Check, please.
Thank you so much, Frank.
Thank you.
90% of South Africans can't afford to retire.
Hey, it lands. And I mean, kudos to the Nedbank team. I can remember seeing some ads like this from the Nedbank team a while ago with a leopard and a ridgeback. And there's a powerful way of being able to tap into the emotion around money. And we often forget that it's such an individual, personal journey. We love to see it in the big picture in interest rates and those sorts of narratives, not the narrative of an individual, our parents, ourselves,
So close to home.
entering into that space. Zoe, I always start with you because you're like the most mature and together person in our team, unfortunately.
She can have it.
Yeah, I'm going to give it to her. You can grow up a little bit, Rupert. I assume that you are saving for retirement. Are you putting away as much as you would like to when you see that reflection?
So, just to give you a quick thing, saving for retirement was something that hung over my head for a very long time, and it stressed me out because I have friends who've been saving since the day they started working. In fact, probably since while they were students. And that was not possible for me. But I did sit down with a financial advisor, and we had this discussion of where do I see myself in terms of retiring? What do I want to have? And we worked backwards. So now I'm no longer stressed. The lifestyle I envision for my retirement is what I'm working towards now. But he set up a plan for me. We work backwards. Compound interest is going to be my best friend, but we are saving towards that now. And he made it bite-sized. It's no longer intimidating. So I'm also like, okay, if I just stick to what we do every single month,
10% or my whatever that is there,
I'll be okay.
And then you've got an accountability partner as well, and that's not your partner, so that you've got someone else that you can lean on who can say, listen, Zoe, the last year, this is what happened. So I think a financial advisor, again, isn't a scary person. It's someone who can help you make a plan.
And something that helps with that discipline is the debit order. Have that money go off like clockwork and you don't even feel it.
For sure. Okay, I love that. And there's a lot of self-talk happening in that as well. So it's not like you get it right all the time. I can hear you also reinforcing that notion, which is great. I know you are so engaged with what's happening right now. Do you think about yourself, the old version of Ryle? When is the right time for Ryle to start saving, and have you?
Yeah, you know what? I see it in my parents. You definitely see the reality of the choices you make now and how they affect you later on. And I think
how much of that is out of your control.
Yeah, 100%. So you have to have this balance because you don't know if you're even going to make it to that point in time. But at the same time, that's a goal to get there. For me, I've never had money to begin with, so I never knew what to manage in the first place. And only recently coming to a point where you're now starting to accumulate money, and now it's like, firstly, get rid of your debt before you even look towards the future. And only recently have I been in this position where it's like, okay, yeah, I've missed out on 20 years of investing in my future. I'm screwed, but I'm actually not, because when you get help and you get assistance and you find out what kind of lifestyle you'd like to live when you're no longer earning money, it doesn't become that intimidating like Zoe says. So I'm on that pathway of figuring out how am I going to make this work now. And before I was like, now I'm going to have to wait for something big to happen in 5 years' time that's going to help me along the way. No, I can make the impact right now. I can change my future right now.
And sorry to hop in here, life happens, and there was a time where I had to phone my financial advisor and say, listen, please can we pause my payments?
Substitution, we're changing the game.
They call it a payment holiday, and I know a lot of women also do it when they go on maternity leave, where you're not earning your set salary. There are ways to help you. So instead of just throwing in the towel and be like, oh, I can't do this, I said to him, listen, I need to get on, I'm spiraling. Can we pause the payments for 3 months? And then things are good again.
Yeah, but to speak, it starts with that open line of communication and having someone in your corner. It's not like someone's going to just let you enter a competition and win a career in TV or something. Oh, wait, hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. That actually can happen in the real world. No, it's never too late to begin saving. With enough dedication and discipline, you can ensure that you are part of that 10% of South Africans who can afford to retire comfortably. It's not a big, scary thing. It's about engaging those small, little steps today. And Nedbank have multiple saving and investment solutions that make it so easier for you to achieve your financial goals, regardless of where you are in your own life cycle. And I'm saying that there are investment accounts for 60-year-old plus that can still give you that value. Now, the 32-day notice and electronic Optimum Plus accounts for people over 55, incredible. The Stokvel immediate savings account that might fit your journey perfectly. There are so many options, so please visit nedbank.co.za today and just take that next important step. That's all we're asking, just one step.
Choose a rate of up to 13.85% after 60 months with a Nedbank Electronic Optimum Plus account. No fees or commissions. Open your account in less than 2 minutes on the Money app. Join the bank that's best for your savings goals.
So let's continue to hold that mirror up and look at our own financial journey and apply it to today's theme of discipline. And I think financial discipline is the practiced practice of developing a set of rules to achieve one's financial goals. Very much the journey that Zoe's been on. It involves making informed decisions for spending and saving.
Now, it is a skill meant to make one have control over money rather than the other way around. Now, here to chat more about this is financial advisor Justin Els. And of course, we need to unpack some of those common challenges that people face. Justin, it's great to have you here with your expertise knowledge. But what are some of those common mistakes people face when it comes to investing and saving for retirement?
Well, morning, guys. I would have to add to what you were saying earlier, Zoe, is not automating your savings. That's one of the first steps you can do to actually address this need of retirement and just savings in general. Because if you save what you have left, let's be honest, there's not much going to be left at the end of the month.
Yeah.
So setting up automatic savings is one of the best ways to actually ensure that some of your money is going towards savings, is going towards retirement to address that need.
When do we start this internal conversation? Because it kind of feels like this needs to be a common thread throughout and kind of tweaked or adjusted to the phase of life that you're in. When does this begin? First job, 10% out into account. Is it really as simple as that? Or how should you approach this? And I'm speaking to those that are beginning their adult journey into the financial space. Yeah.
So it's important to start, obviously, as soon as possible. But what I always recommend to my clients is seeing your savings, like have a savings budget, how much of your budget can go towards savings, but even within that savings budget, allocate it to different categories, to your short-term savings need, to your medium-term savings need, and long-term. Because we're thinking about retirement, and that's the scary thing, but then, as I mentioned, life happens. Unfortunate events happen. Now you have to pause your retirement savings to deal with this.
Or fortunate events. Your child might get an opportunity that you need the money for. Yeah?
Exactly. So this is where having an emergency fund, now you can deal with that emergency rather than having to now liquidate some investments because your car needs new tires.
Also, they've got more interest with a loan. Yeah.
Exactly. So putting those savings into different silos helps you address the different needs, whether it's going on an overseas holiday in 2 years from now or saving for a deposit on a house or retirement. All of these needs have different terms. So you can address all of them. Just make sure that this money is for this purpose, so don't start using it for this one.
Yeah, for sure.
It makes this intimidating task a lot more clear.
I love that, yeah.
And I mean, today is all about that self-development, self-discipline that comes with it, and naturally the debit order helps you to do that. But Justin, how can we use the system to benefit us, let's say in accumulation, wealth accumulation?
Okay, so first thing would be to avoid overindulgence or overspending. And the best way, one of my favorite quotes is actually, if you can't afford to buy it twice, you can't afford to buy it.
I like that.
It's not a Warren Buffett quote, it's a Jay-Z quote.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, Jay-Z is well north of $1 billion net worth. So, I mean, he's made some smart money decisions. So avoid that, and then also allocating, rather saving up for something before you buy it instead of using your credit card, because South Africans are overly indebted, and it's unsecured debt. It's not the good debt where you take out debt to accumulate an asset that's growing in
going to later be more
value.
Yeah.
It's clothing accounts, it's credit card accounts, those type of things. It's important to avoid that, and you can do that with budgetary rules for yourself.
I love that quote you quoted from Jay-Z, because someone also said to me, because I'm guilty of buying something just because it's on sale. And you also
I reward
need to,
myself. I'm like, you've gone without for this long, you need it, go and do it. You know?
So if you won't pay full price for it, don't buy it just because it's on sale. That's another little tip.
I love that. So we know the overspending, because money is an emotional thing, whether you're looking long-term projections or short-term, and it's often that instant gratification. maybe I can flip the script because I think it is a simple equation, but you get to live in the space of being a part of people's journeys as they unlock that financial freedom. What is the difference in people's lives when they've done this? Because you get to see that manifest. How much of a difference can it make sticking to the simple principle when it becomes now your time to retire? What have you seen in your personal experience?
Well, that's what I love about my job, to be honest, because I get to be a part of this journey where people come to me, they're very anxious about money, and I get to guide them. And then 5, 6, 7 years later, we're at the space where I said, remember that first time that we chatted and you were worried about all of this? Look what we've been through so far. And it's important to see my clients that do it right, they live below their means. That's as simple as that, because it's too easy when your income does grow or you have that extra hustle to rather spend it on lifestyle increases instead of allocating it to savings. So my clients that do it well, they've got a strict budget. That makes it more difficult to overspend. Not necessarily strict, just clear budget.
Clear,
it's accurate and it's up to date. So they know when they can't afford something, and then it makes the decision not to buy it a lot easier.
Justified. Sure.
Exactly.
I love that. Thank you, Justin. Thank you for joining us this morning. And, you know, it's never too late to begin saving. And with enough dedication and discipline, you can ensure that you are part of that 10%. And, of course, we want to make sure that you look after yourself. You have that discipline that you need to have that financial freedom. And it all starts with a plan.
Hey, what's that?
This is Octifex, a new accessible platform to trade Forex on global markets.
Cool. What's a Forex?
It's short for foreign exchange, trading currencies.
Buy low, sell high. Score points, right?
Exactly.
What's leverage?
It's like you got cool friends. They vouch for you, and you can trade it big.
Precisely.
So basically it's an app where you learn and trade, and it's safe, and it looks good.
That about sums it up here. Octifex, trading made clear.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. It is your Feel Good Breakfast Show. It's Expresso on S3. We're approaching that final hour, so stay tuned as we have more to unpack under the umbrella of self-discipline and putting the spotlight on health and wellness. But for now, let's quickly catch up with those morning headlines one last time.
Thank you so much, Zoe. Yes, it's just gone on the hour and it's our last time of the day where we dive into our official duties. Now, starting on national news headlines, Electricity Minister Dr. Kgosienso Ramokgopa says the power distributed in the country is beginning to match the demand. Now, Ramokgopa says there is a steady improvement at Eskom's power stations across the country. Now, last month, Ramokgopa said his department had made progress in reducing rolling blackouts. Meanwhile, Eskom says load shedding will remain suspended between midnight and 4 p.m. every day until further notice. However, the power utilities said stage 3 would be implemented during the evenings every day between 4 p.m. and midnight. Well, sticking to national news headlines, the organizers have issued an apology after a jockey protest led to the suspension of the last 3 races at Saturday's Durban July. Now, an unexpected power outage led to the suspension of the races, and the power outage was apparently contrary to arrangements made with the Durban Metro. Now, the jockeys reportedly cited unsafe conditions as the reason for their refusal to participate further. Now, a full investigation has been launched, and Winchester Mansion won the main race with Kabelo Muchinyanya, as well in the saddle was the favorite See It Again, which came second, and with Bless My Stars coming in at third. Well, from our national news headlines, it's time to head over to international news. Now, the ruling Sierra Leone People's Party has won 60% of the seats in parliamentary election as the main opposition party demanded a rerun of the vote count that also saw President Julius Maada Bio win a second term. Now, the ruling party won 81 seats and the opposition All People's Congress 54. Now, the results showed the ruling party made significant gains in the diamond-rich district of Kono, winning 7 of 10 seats. Now, they also made gains in the opposition heartland of the north and west, especially in the capital of Freetown. Well, sticking to international news headlines right now, and the Iranian government has refused to send a new ambassador to Sweden after a protester burnt a Quran outside a mosque in the capital of Stockholm. Now, an Iranian-born refugee burnt the Muslim holy book outside a mosque on the first day of Eid al-Adha. Now, Swedish police charged him with agitation against an ethnic or national group. Now, meanwhile, Sweden's government has condemned the burning of a Quran outside Stockholm's main mosque, calling it an Islamophobic act. Oh, sticking to international headlines, a Florida firefighter has adopted a baby who was placed in the U.S. state's only safe haven baby box. Now, the baby box allows parents to legally surrender a child, and when used, it triggers an alarm which notifies emergency responders. Now, Vincent, whose last name was withheld for private reasons, was on duty when the alarm connected to the box went off. Now, a quote coming through saying, "When I went to check, Zoe was laying in there," and this was what Vincent recalled, referring to the baby he and his wife, Katie, have since adopted. Now, Vincent and Katie had been trying unsuccessfully to have children for nearly a decade. Well, isn't that just some brightening news for this morning? But we're going to carry on with the headlines and dive into sport right now, and G has the latest when it comes to all of it.
Well, from boycotting jockeys, we continue on that trend in football. In a bold act of defiance, Banyana refused to play their scheduled friendly match against Botswana at the Tsakane Stadium yesterday. So according to SABC Sport, the South African women's national football team, set to compete, of course, in the 2023 FIFA World Cup, they desire a more fitting send-off as they have taken a stand against the chosen venue. The players insisted on a stadium with greater significance, preferably one of those that hosted the matches during the 2010 FIFA World Cup. Now, Banyana's head coach, Desiree Ellis, as a result, had to name a second-string team for the fixture, with that makeshift side losing 5-0. You certainly want to watch this space to see the outcome. Now, plenty of action off the field, further afield, as the summer signings now come in. Liverpool confirmed the signing of Dominik Szoboszlai from RB Leipzig on Sunday. That was after paying the Hungarians a €70 million fee. The 22-year-old will further bolster the Reds' midfield options. That was after the arrival, of course, of Argentine World Cup winner Alexis McAllister last month. Liverpool were in the market to refresh that midfield after a below-par fifth-place finish in the Premier League last season. Of course, that most importantly saw them miss out on Champions League qualification for the first time in 7 years. And Szoboszlai, he scored 20 goals and I think more importantly 22 assists in his 91 games for Leipzig. So he's going to unlock that midfield undoubtedly. Now we turn to cricket and a battle royale that culminated in the UK yesterday as Australia won the second thrilling Ashes test at Lord's by 43 runs despite a stunning century from England captain Ben Stokes that was of course supercharged by the controversial dismissal of Johnny Bairstow. So Stokes made a remarkable 155 before he was dismissed with England 70 runs shy of a steep target of 371 on that final day. England were eventually dismissed for 327. But it was the dismissal of Bairstow that incited the fury of the Lord's crowd as he wandered out of his ground after ducking a Cameron Green bouncer. And yes, there were a lot of bodyline bowling. And a quick-thinking keeper, Alex Carey, then underarmed the ball onto the stumps. Now, Bairstow had thought he had secured his ground by tapping his bat behind the crease, but he was ultimately given out. So we will certainly watch that space as well. It's difficult to watch this space because he's never sticking around in Formula One. Red Bull's Max Verstappen is on fire. He continued his imperious march towards a third world title with another dominant victory, this time at the Austrian Grand Prix yesterday. The Dutchman's fifth win on the trot now moves him 81 points clear of teammate Sergio Perez in the championship. And behind him, excitement provided by a battle for that podium between Perez and Ferrari's Leclerc, who ultimately won it, thanks partly to some stalwart defense from his teammate Carlos Sainz before Perez took third. Some great team driving, great individual driving, one of the best seasons yet. Now, hopefully that same notion applies to our roads this morning as we get you out there to work. Zozo's got the latest on the traffic front.
Thank you, Graham. Let's take a final look at your roads. In Pietermaritzburg and KwaZulu-Natal, there's been an accident on the N2 southbound. It's after the ramp from Umgeni Road interchange. That right lane is closed. Expect delays. And in Germiston, there's been a multi-vehicle accident on the N3 southbound. It's after the Geldenhuys interchange. There are now 3 lanes closed, and this is causing heavy delays. And that's a wrap of your traffic. Let's take a final look at your weather. And we start off with some news as 5 communities are still cut off in the Namakwaland area in the Northern Cape due to heavy rains and subsequent flooding. 5 people are still missing and search and rescue teams are on the ground looking for those who are unaccounted. A mother in the Buffels River area had to give birth at home because of inaccessibility to healthcare facilities. Namakwa Municipal spokesperson Jason Mulford said they needed air support. He said air support would bring some relief, especially to the Buffels River community. He added that there was one shop in town, but that it had no stock left. The people of Buffels River are in dire need of supplies, he says. Well, that's your news update for today. Let's bring you your temperatures. I'll start off in Limpopo. If you're in Polokwane, a low of 7 and a high of 20 can be expected. Mbombela, 8.26. Pretoria, sunny with a low of 10, a high of 21. Johannesburg, 8.19. Mahikeng, 8.22. Klerksdorp, 6.22. If you're in Kimberley, 10's your low, 21 your high. Bloemfontein, 4 with the high of 20. Richards Bay, 13.26. Pietermaritzburg, 8.27. Staying in KwaZulu-Natal, Durban, 15. Your high is 24 for today. Mthatha, 9.25. East London, 12.23. Cradock, 3 with a high of 23. Kapaga, your low is 13, your high 20. Moving to the Western Cape, George, a low of 11 and a high of 17 can be expected. Cape Town, 11.19. Worcester, 6 with a high of 24. If you're in Sutherland, 2's your low, 17 your high. And Uppington, a low of 11 and a high of 25 degrees Celsius. Well, those are your temperatures for today. Now that you know, let's take a look at those sunrise views. Kicking us off for your Monday morning, Fatah Khan finishing off with this beautiful outside view in Richards Bay. We love that. Look at those yachts. Then Shandon is showing off brightly beautiful lit sky in East London. Rena shared this photo with us from East London. Look at those neon clouds in the distance. And Prakesh in Durban sharing another picture-perfect photo of the harbour. Just look at that. That looks like something from a screensaver. If you have a beautiful sunrise view to share with us, we love seeing it. Our number is 063 408 8863.
So much, Zoe, and yes, thank you, Mzansi, for sending those incredible pictures in. We're still sticking to the theme of discipline and coming through with the big HW. We're talking about health and wellness, and Warren Munitz is in the building. He's going to be serving us on that. So you definitely do not want to go anywhere, because it's time to sip on all the good stuff in just a bit. See you there.
Jacobs 3-in-1, the perfect combination of coffee, milk, and sugar. Jacobs, the magic aroma.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Some Mzansi and all of you beautiful souls, we are straight back into it. It's your Feel Good Breakfast Show, and we're carrying on with an incredible conversation. The theme is discipline, and we are helping you achieve the most incredible goals that you are destined for. And I know with so many of you, you struggle to stay on track without goals and with living mindfully and sticking to routines. Jumbling this all up, it can be difficult to manage. But what if I told you there was a way to help with all of this? Oh yes, today we're going to be chatting to a life coach. Warren Munitz is in the building to share some absolute secrets that you want to pay attention to. Get the pencil and pad out and take notes down right now. Good morning, Warren. How are you doing?
Good morning. I'm good, thanks.
I'm excited for your nuggets. Let's get it.
I think for a life coach, a motivational speaker, you don't have a choice. You've got to be on it, bud, because you are here.
Yeah.
You live in the moment. And there is a great joy in being able to make these connections and kind of be in that space. But you also live at that point where I think people are either achieving or not achieving their goals. It's quite a definitive thing. Why do we find it so difficult to stick to goals? Let me use the New Year's resolution as a conduit for this. Why are goals often like that?
Yeah, it's interesting because, you know, we often think about, let's create a New Year's resolution and I'm going to exercise every day.
Because there's an apparent need for that.
Right. You know, but the reality is that when you change your goal, you actually don't realize you're choosing a different lifestyle. You're choosing a different character. You are the sum of your habits.
Yeah.
So unless you are okay with changing who you are, you're not going to be able to change that outcome. That goal that you want to change, there's many little steps that lead all the way back to you. So your habits, your character, your thoughts, your whole reality must change.
Yeah. I love that because we kind of think of the goal as the destination, but it's the steps that you're taking to get there, and you're not going to change instantaneously. So don't be scared of the process.
Don't be scared of the process. And maybe we can talk about the process right now, because let's say we are someone that's envisioning a different lifestyle, looking to upgrade or do something differently to what we are in right now. What are some of those ingredients or those variables of input that can allow us to achieve that? You mentioned something about us being the product of our habits. Now, does discipline have a role in this space too?
Completely. So without self-discipline, you're dead in the water. So if you think about your goal or your vision, right, the accomplishment of that, the bridge between the two, that's self-discipline. You can't get there without it. You have to understand that, so what we said earlier, that where you are now in your life is this accumulation of habits and who you are. The goal isn't like an object. You have to transform into the goal. You have to change. And in order to change, it's challenging.
Yeah.
You have to make difficult choices when you don't want to make those choices. And discipline is the only way there, but not discipline by itself. You need compassion with discipline. That's the other side of the tree.
Something. Yeah.
It's balanced. Discipline without compassion is cruelty. Compassion without discipline is just sentimental. So these two things work together to
Dynamic tension,
Exactly, to get you where you want to be.
I love that, and people think that the discipline makes it more difficult, but it actually doesn't take a lot to rejig. It takes a couple of weeks, in fact, to start changing those habits. You don't need a huge amount of a shift to ensure uptake, but then the discipline makes it easy because you're not starting from 1 every time you need to make a difficult decision. You start at number 9 because you've done 1 to 9 every single day, and it makes it easier to do that. So this all speaks to a very conscious approach to life, mindfulness.
Right.
We often only access this towards the end of our journey when financially we've emancipated ourselves, we find our purpose and wow, okay. But we should be starting at that point. Why is it so important that we get this right, this shift in our heads?
So, I mean, and understandably, we think when I get over there, then I'll be able to relax.
Yeah.
You know, then I'll be able to live that life. But the reality is that over there, you have to embody that internally first.
It's now, not then.
There is only now. This idea of time, future, past, that's
exist.
In your head.
Yeah, it doesn't exist at all.
It doesn't exist. And so if you can't embody this reality or this desired goal in your internal reality now, you can't embody it ever. You must believe it. That requires discipline. You need to be less distracted. You know, you need to be distraction-proof. That requires discipline. You can't be looking at all the shiny objects. You've got to be internal, grounded in yourself in this moment. They call that present moment awareness.
Yeah.
And you need to be comfortable there, even if, you know, you're uncomfortable.
It's very uncomfortable, yeah.
You've got to be okay with that discomfort. That takes discipline. Over and over, you keep practicing that, you know, and it is compounded, as you said. The challenge around that is you might fail 50 times, but as long as you do 51 times, then really you've succeeded. Every single failure that you go through, you experience that failure, and then it becomes a learning. But if you don't experience the failure,
well, you're failing at life, and here's the bottom line. The failure of life isn't measured at the end of life. It's measured every day in the only thing that really does exist, which is the moment.
Exactly.
And that lived experience is something you can tap into all the time. We see it, we are spoiled, obviously, to be connecting with some amazing people in these gateway moments in their life and tapping into that. But it's amazing when we look back, that common thread of people just being able to step into the moment and be present. Absolutely amazing. I think we've got the one job that forces you to do it. So we love the fact that this is becoming a conversation that everybody is having right now. So if you need to speak to someone right now, connect with those that can help you who do exist in that moment. Warren, you're awesome, buddy.
Thanks.
Have the most amazing day. Hopefully today's discussion has not made discipline this big, scary demon in your life, but rather that first step towards unlocking your potential.
And we love unlocking potential with you, especially when you get involved with our topics. So this morning we asked you this simple question: what is the best piece of advice you can share about discipline in your life? We've asked for WhatsApp voice notes 063-408-8863, and we've asked for your comments. So let's take a look which came through. Shireen Abrams, one of our regulars, said, "Good morning, Expresso family. Happy Monday. To stay focused on your goals and never give up. You have what it takes to succeed. What matters is the determination to keep moving forward and stay motivated. Have a super day, team, and the show always inspires and motivates me. Sending all my love to the entire team." Well, Shireen, we send all of our love right back at you. Another comment came through from Esther saying, "Happy Monday. Life is a journey that needs us to be patient." Ooh. Yes, I think we all get very impatient, and especially if we take a look at social media, we sometimes forget there's a lot of hard work that goes in before you see results. Tiny says, "Happy Monday, familia. Being down to earth, patient, kindness, and respect for others, young or old." Very wise. I love that, Tiny. And Rose says, "Being disciplined does not apply only to our physical lives, but also our spiritual lives." Very important indeed. Well, we would love to hear your voice, so send us a voice note. Our number is 063-408-8863, or feel free to head on over to our Facebook post and share your comment. Let us know what is the best piece of advice you can share around discipline in your own life.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Yep, we are taking a health turn right now. There are plenty of tips and tricks that teach us how to save our money. But what happens when we have exhausted our medical benefits? Now, with winter seasons in full swing in South Africa, discussing staying healthy amidst your medical aid being exhausted is essential. I think a lot of people are like, I feel your pain. Joining me today is Afrocentric Health's Senior Manager, Health Policy Developer, Dr. Nkateko Msameki. Doc, thank you so much for joining us this morning. A little bit nervous to be on live TV, saving people's lives, because this is the job, Doc. You've put yourself out there on a different level to help people, so thank you so much for being that person and joining us. This is a scary thing, I think, when you're in the moment. You've got a sick child, your resources are stretched to their absolute limit. Once we have exhausted our medical aid benefits, talk me through that process. What's actually going on here within that ecosystem?
Yeah. So I think oftentimes when people talking about, I've exhausted my benefits, what do I do? What does it actually mean? It helps to think first about, well, how's your medical scheme structured? Because there are lots of different benefits. So which benefit have you exhausted and how? So in broad terms, your medical scheme will have what you call a medical savings and a risk benefit. So your medical savings is like a bank account that it pays for your out-of-hospital day-to-day expenses, your GP, your glasses, your dentistry. And that's the money that's actually yours. So if you leave the scheme, it's going to be transferred, the balance to
payback, okay.
Basically, whereas your risk is for your hospital benefits. So typically when people say, I've run out of benefits, they're often talking about that day-to-day, if they have that medical savings. And the important thing there is to actually understand what limits exist within your benefits, because that will help you actually know, what is my benefit, what is the limit, why have I run out?
And people often don't know these things. We don't look at the fine print because we are just so relieved that we got the thing that we needed to get and we ticked that box. If we are at that very uncomfortable space now where we're feeling stretched, and of course, it gets real in winter when your kid comes back with everything that every other child had at school. For that person who has exhausted those benefits and is looking for the next step when the pressure is on, what advice do you have for them?
So I'd say first check what benefits you do have, because sometimes you think you've run out.
Just look through a different lens.
Look through a different lens. So you might find that you've bought a plan that has unlimited GP visits, as an example. So actually you could access that. Or you might, in this digital age, have access to a digital platform for virtual screening. You could access that. Or instead of going to the casualty first, go visit your pharmacy. Go see a pharmacy clinic and see a pharmacy nurse.
You might have a vitamin B injection waiting for you there.
Exactly. You might have prevention benefits that you might be able to access. So don't just assume I've run out from what I understand. Actually have a look at what benefits do you have. The other thing you can do is think about what do I have at home? Especially in this cold and flu season, you are probably already have like a paracetamol at home. You have salt and water. I've got a sore throat. Warm water, gargle with it. It will help soothe your
I love it. You're just like,
pain.
yeah, you're sick, just go and gargle with salt and water, okay? Yo, that's great. That's what I expected from an industry professional. No, but it's so absolutely true. Do you know what my wife and I did? We went back through all of our medication, made sure that we knew exactly what every piece of medication was in there, labeled things so we could keep the stuff safe that we needed to keep safe. We literally had a pharmacy in our cupboard that we hadn't been tapping into and buying new when we had anti-nausea, all of those things there. So you're absolutely on the money. The gap that shouldn't exist but is there that we need to cover ourselves for. How does gap cover work and why do you suggest that, or do you recommend gap cover?
So I think firstly, before we look at what is gap cover, there are different kinds of what people consider gap cover.
So how we classify.
Exactly. So if you are part of a medical scheme that might offer something called a short payment gap, that's what sometimes people are talking about with gap cover. But typically when we say gap cover, we're looking at what you might buy from an insurer, right?
Okay.
And that often will cover short payments or short claims when you go to hospital. So your provider charges a little bit more than what your scheme rate might be.
It's like mini insurance within medical aid.
Exactly. So it's to cover what that short payment, that shortfall would be. Importantly, in cold and flu season, it's not really going to cover your acute stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so
this
you
is
can't...
more the over-the-counter pharmacy type vibe.
Yeah, so this is largely going to cover your hospital type. If you landed in hospital for influenza in ICU, please don't.
God willing, yeah.
Yeah, but then it might cover that kind of cost, but not so much your over-the-counter type of medication.
Okay. I get that. What would you recommend is the best way, as someone who gets to live in the reality of the causality, the repercussions of making the wrong kind of decisions or not being educated in this space. How would you recommend a person approaches their medical aid, their gap cover, just entering into that ecosystem? What advice do you have?
So look at your health needs. Think about, have that conversation with your broker, with your financial planner, to say, what actually do I need for my health needs? So typically what we see, and going back to your first question about running out of benefits, often it's because people aren't appropriately covered for their actual health needs.
Taking what you need.
Exactly. So, and you'll notice that in, say, for your chronic condition, but your health need. So I might need a little bit more dentistry. You might need a little bit more optometry. You have a young family, young kids who need to see more GPs, so maybe go on unlimited GP visits as part of your plan. Or you have a chronic condition, or you've been diagnosed with a cancer and you need a little bit more. So actually assess what are your real health needs, and then have the conversation with your broker, with your financial planner, to say what medical scheme plan is going to be the best fit.
And there are many. You can become very nuanced. There are all sorts of additional lifestyle add-on benefits and things like that. But I think you've hit the nail on the head. I can understand why you do what you do. To be able to simplify a very complex space is a massive help just in itself. So thank you so much for that. I've never thought about my medical journey like that. It's always about box ticking, having what they have, not what I need. Look at you and your family's needs and build your medical cover around that. Brilliant. Thank you, Doc.
Stand your best chance of beating colds and flu this winter and being one of 2 winners of 5,000 Rand each with Carenza Para-C. To find out how the triple effect of Carenza Para-C makes it an essential on your shopping list this winter and how you can win 5,000 Rand in cash, catch Expresso from the 3rd to the 12th of July and manage cold and flu symptoms this season. Simply reply to the competition posts on the Expresso social media pages using hashtag Carenza Para-C and hashtag BeatWinterFlu. T's and C's apply.
Oh, listen, we are in the kitchen, but before we whip up a very delicious recipe using some avo, we have decided to put this social media hack to the test. Now, one of my favorite fitness influencers to follow on Instagram is Angie Doberman. She is known as Lean Girl, and she's posted this video showcasing how to make your avos last longer. Let's see what the secret is.
According to the internet, we can freeze avocados and then defrost them, and they should be as perfect as they were going into the freezer.
Okay, so here we are the next day. I left the avocado out for a couple of hours to defrost, and it was not looking promising. But guys, this actually worked. It was just as creamy and delicious as when I put it in. So if you have a bunch of avos that go ripe at the same time, please try this hack, save it, and share it with your avocado-loving bestie.
Okay, well, let's see if Angie has cracked the nod here. We thought we would do that too. So, Raul, we've frozen our avos. This one is still frozen. Just
Can we check and make sure? Okay.
This thing is as solid as a rock.
Jeez. Okay.
So that's the one that just came out the freezer, and these are the ones we've literally left to defrost slightly and soften. So we're going to cut it open.
This is important, right, for people that are buying bulk avos, saving money maybe, but don't want all the avos to ripen at the same time. Because what do you do with 8 avos at once, right?
True.
Right, so we've frozen this for that very reason.
Yeah, so let's see what it looks like. And of course, these avos would be great. I mean, keep your fresh avos for if you're going to serve it in a salad, but this would be also great. You know, you like to make guacamole, you like to mush your avo
Before you cut into that, what was your expectation? Did it feel okay?
It's very, it's softened quite a bit. So let's see what our avo looks like when I twist. This is the moment of truth. Our avo has been cut open. It is beautiful. So you won't be able to open it like a fresh one with a pip, but I mean, look at this. She showed us how you can cut it.
The meat
Beautiful. And it's still so creamy.
I want to grab a piece of this. Guys, no ways.
This
feels like an avo. It's soft. It's
creamy. You just obviously, it won't come off the pip as easily.
So good. This is absolutely insane. I think we're going to officially have to rate this one. Let me get the rest of that in because, oh, this is good. And while we're at it, let me talk to you about avos because they are so, so good for so many reasons. It's a good, healthy fat. It can be worked into so many different meals. You can have it as a snack, have it as a dipper, you name it. And so officially, we didn't have to vote on this one. Was this a yay or a nay, a hot mess is a success?
This was a huge success. Look at that.
Indeed.
It's creamy. It didn't decolor.
Yeah.
It's, oh, look
I
at
was
that.
expecting like brown mush.
Me too.
Thank you so much for coming through on this hack. This is absolutely incredible. A great way to save money, invest in our Avo's future, and how it can serve all our guests and all
I feel
the
like we
incredible
need to
meals.
test this one as well.
Yeah, test that one as well. Get it open. Let's have an Avo Fest right now. And this is maybe a reminder for you, Mzansi. If you have any other kitchen hacks for us, something that you've tried and we need to know about, then come through, share it with us, or something that you saw on your social media pages. Leave us a comment so that we can also try replicate it, and at the same time, see if we can serve you and get our kitchen hacks on. This was an
is
insane
such a
one.
cool little hack. I mean, I love having smashed avo on bread, especially with breakfast, you know, with some eggies, or also for lunch with some chicken mayo. This is a winner. Look at that. Our avo is beautiful. You just have to, obviously it sticks to the pip, but that's the only thing.
Magic stuff. And now, with these Avos, we're going to be making a beautiful Avo-inspired meal. Myself and G will be with you in just a bit, so don't go anywhere. Kitchen hacks, kitchen inspiration, all coming at you.
There we go.
Very nice.
Do it like this. Do it like get it, move it, own it. Do it like this.
Bespoke.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
It is your Feel Good Breakfast show. Indeed, welcome back. Now, earlier we spoke about mastering your health and wellness. Well, now we are putting that to the test. We are going to introduce you to our next guest, which is Zitobe Macheli, better known as the Skin Girl, and she is an award-winning digital content creator, skinfluencer, and an upcoming esthetician that creates science-based skincare. Now, she is known for her glowing complexion, and that is not always been the case. Her struggles with acne is what inspired her love for skincare and helping others make informed decisions when it comes to investing in skincare products. Zitobe, it's so great to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're probably so over this compliment, but you have the most beautiful skin, and it's quite hard to imagine that you battled with acne at some stage. Can you talk us through that journey of how you managed to tackle your acne?
Yeah, my journey with skincare and acne has been a very long one. A journey of trial and error, a journey of just, trying to figure out what is it that I'm meant to do. I've always had like oily skin, and oily skin is very prone to acne. So during my teenage years, that's when I realized that my skin is going from hormonal acne to a more severe case. And yeah, it's a lot to go through that because you get unsolicited advice from people, you get all these nasty remarks, and it's like people should never comment on anyone's skin, especially if you can see that you're struggling and you're going, through that. It plays such a, it's just a long journey.
And you know what? Going through something like acne, or especially anything that impacts your skin, it affects your self-esteem.
It really does.
Now, someone sees this picture, your before picture and your after picture. Can you give us a time frame? Because I think we're also very impatient with ourselves.
Yes.
How long did it take you to reach that clear skin that you have now?
It took me quite a long time. As I said, I noticed from a very young age that I am very acneic, and it was only in 2019 when I mastered or was able to sort of clear my acne. Yeah. And it's just important to have a relationship with your skin so that you're able to just maintain the results, Yeah.
And going on that self journey is so important because you've learned what works for your skin, what doesn't. And of course, there are so many people along the way that gives their unsolicited advice. Yeah. But what did you find worked for you? What products did you incorporate into your routine to make sure it tackled your oily skin problem?
Yes. So definitely when it comes to acne or oily skin, it's very important to make sure that you incorporate ingredients that are going to regulate your sebum production, because the overproduction of sebum for me was the problem that was causing my acne. And also just things like wearing sunscreen, because acne is an inflammatory issue, and things like the sun could trigger and make your acne more active. So yeah, for me, salicylic acid and also soothing my skin, making sure that my skin barrier is healthy and is soothed was really, really what worked and still works.
I love that. Talk us through your skincare routine.
So as I said, sunscreen is very important, and right here we do have one of my favorite sunscreens from Skin Functional, chemical sunscreen. Very great for people with darker tones because it doesn't leave any white residue. Yes, which we try to stay away from all the time. And then chemical exfoliants, very great just to get rid of the cells that are old and dead, which could get into your pores and clog your pores and cause more acne. So mandelic acid is amazing, very gentle, even if you have sensitive skin. And then moisturizing your skin, there are myths around oily skin not needing any type of moisture because of how oily
the skin's already oily.
Exactly, but you need to moisturize your skin and just get a very lightweight moisturizer like this one. Very lightweight, gel-like, and it's a great consistency for oily skin.
And what's amazing is that one from Dermalogica, it absorbs into your skin and it leaves you looking radiant. There's a difference between oily and radiant.
Definitely. Agreed.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Now, if there is anyone currently struggling, they are perhaps on that journey where you were and you were frustrated with your own skin, how can you give them some encouragement? How can you encourage them to perhaps start? Because that will also affect their self-esteem. Because I think you get so lost with all these different products. 100%. Every now and then, going back to basics is what someone needs.
100%.
What would you give someone advice for?
I would first say, start a relationship with your skin, get to know your skin type, and get to know the type of acne that you're struggling with. So that will help you. It's like a starting point. It will help you know what kind of products you need. And even when it comes to taking advice from like skinfluencers like myself, just make sure you're following people that have the same skin type as you and also struggle with the same issues. So whenever products are being recommended, you're not getting just anything, but you're getting something that speaks to what your skin really needs. And my problem was with that as well in the beginning. I was just taking advice from anyone and everyone, and it's like you need to make sure that you know what you're dealing with. And also, yeah, just wear sunscreen.
Wear sunscreen. That's also something I say all the time.
Exactly. And also make sure that you have a 3-step skincare routine. You don't have to make things complicated and implement everything at once. Start with your cleanser, your moisturizer, and sunscreen, and then you work your way up.
That is incredible. Well, Sitobe, it's great having you here. Thank you for breaking it down for us and also simplifying your skincare routine. Are you bringing out anything soon? Are we putting that into the universe?
I'm putting it into the universe. That is the goal. So yeah, we'll get something.
Okay, well, we'll need to bring you back when that happens. They don't call her the skin girl for no reason. Her skin is flawless, but it's a journey she went on herself. And that's something you can do too. Well, all of these products that we've discussed and so many more, it is available at Woolworths. You can shop it in-store, online, as well as on the Woolies app.
Stop, guac, and roll. It's World Guacamole Month. Believe it, the whole world is celebrating avos right now. Remember when avo toast was the trendiest thing since literally sliced bread? What didn't we tell you, the Insta foodies at least, was that the craze was just an old favorite. Guacamole has been here, but now it's all dressed up with somewhere to go. And we love that. Guac is the ultimate everyday, every night snack because you can kind of dress it up in so many different ways.
Yes, please. So, my question for you is, G, firstly, before we get into this, why is it called guacamole?
Well, incidentally, Raul, okay, I'm going to take you back 10,000 years ago, okay? The ancient Mayans, okay? This guy stubbed his toe, and he was like, is it a brick? And what was there? A mole. Believe it or not. He was like, guacamole? And that's how, no, that's not at all. I have no idea how it got the name guacamole. Please, if you know, please let us know, okay? It's the gift that keeps on giving, though. That's why we love it. And right now, homegrown avocados are in season, and that season has been extended by our Growers Association, so thank you, guys. And we've got beautiful varieties on shelf right now. Green skin, dark skin, doesn't matter. You cannot go wrong with deliciously decadent local avos that are, of course, jam-packed with so much nutrients. And in South Africa, guacamole is perfect for the braai. She's in yama, baby. A quarter topper, maybe. A Gatsby filler, don't come after me. Mixed with salsa on the side for a bunny chow or stuffed inside. I'm a guinya with chakalaka. None of you come after me, okay? You can have avo with absolutely everything. So we're going to make some guac, dude. And you're going to be the man.
And it's so simple. Literally 5 ingredients. The one ingredient doesn't even count because it's like spices. So it's so simple. As we showed you, Mzansi, earlier, how cool it was of that hack to be able to keep your avos, make them last longer, defrost them, and they literally come out as fresh as ever. So we're doing the thing with the avos this morning. And my man's just getting them.
I don't know how you slice your avos, but I like to, if I'm going for small little bits like that, I'm going to give that to you to actually spoon out. Then you just spoon it straight out.
Yeah, man. So this is a part where you can get creative. You can go for like a chunky sort of a salsa mix here if you want, a guacamole mix, sorry, or you can go for like a nice smooth one. And I'm starting to think that I figured out now why they call it guacamole. Because when you make guacamole, you take the avo and you got to like press it like that, right?
Okay.
And it kind of makes that noise like a so guacamole. There we go. That's got to be that. Come on. Surely, guys. Mzansi, please, we're still trying to figure out whether Graham's story or mine is correct. Let us know. Come through on socials. Why is it called guacamole? We don't really actually care because we just care that it tastes good, and it really does when you get this recipe together.
Oh, completely, dude. And this, do you know that guacamole, well, avocado, I don't want to say guacamole, avocado predates the wheel, dude. We have loved avos. The ancient Mayans, I joke about them, but they actually were cultivating avocados like 10,000 years ago. It was one of the first things that we did as a species kind of take ownership of. Obviously, so jam-packed with the right kind of nutrients and all those healthy fats.
This is obviously why the mines were able to build those colossal, like, pyramids and stuff, dude. Do you know how much energy is in this?
Yeah, man, and they just
Clearly,
had
they
to
were
wage
fueling.
wars. They were like, I just got too much energy. I've got to do something with this. Okay, let's go and conquer another.
All right. And then they had unripe ones that they could just throw at the enemy as well.
Oh, then they learned how to
Knock them out.
freeze them, and that's when the game changed. That's when it
All
got
right.
really dangerous.
So really simple right now. We've got our guac, our avo that's just been cut up into cubes. We're going for cubes this time and not for the mushy one.
Cool.
And then really simple. We're going to add one of those other 5 ingredients. So we've got some onion in there. We're going to put some tomato in this one too. That's also been diced up quite nicely. And then spices to your choosing. Salt and pepper is always a go-to. You can never go wrong with that. But if you want a little kick, I would definitely suggest adding some of them flaky flakes with the spice in it. Yes.
Can I make a suggestion here? Because I've been exploring the difference between red and green and smoked chilies. So
Okay.
the green chili is really good for your tummy. As much as it's got heat, it's not bad on your stomach lining, or it's not too damaging. Yeah, which is great. And it's kind of food that you burn calories while you're eating it as well.
yeah,
Red chili can have a more dominant effect on your tummy. So if you're struggling with the heat of chilies and looking for something that's a little more gentle but still want some warmth, the green chili is a good option. It's got a slightly different flavor profile as well. But for me, what I love, like from a flavor profile perspective, smoked chili is the way to go. The way that it balances the smoky flavors with the avo, with the guacamole, it's just the perfect combo. And we'll call this point 1, point 2, point 3. So 5.3 ingredients. You can
But look
take
at that, man. As simple as that. Smells fresh. It's got all the nutrients that you want and need. I think we just squeeze some lemon in there.
Yeah, just do it
to
for
kind of finish
longevity.
it
Yeah.
off.
And the lemon helps with the flavor and, of course, preserving, stopping the avo from oxidizing. I don't know if that's real, but I'm going to say it, okay?
That thing that happens when it just doesn't go the color you want.
You don't want it to guac, okay? You don't want it to guac in the bowl. So what are you waiting for? Guac and roll this World Guacamole Month. We have made it okay for you to do it every day. Go and add an avo or 2 to your favorite dish as a side, as a topper, as a filler, as the whole meal. And for more information and avo recipes, and there are many, go and visit avocado.co.za and like at I Love Avocado SA on Facebook, and then follow at I Love Avo SA on Instagram. We just don't have anything to eat it on, dude.
Oh, no.
A fork.
Okay, yeah, that'll do.
It's fine.
I got a spoon.
Come to me, my friend. Watch South Africa versus Scotland live in France in a once-in-a-lifetime rugby experience brought to you by Clover. Catch the box in rugby's ultimate showpiece, hosted by Springbok legend Skulk Burger. 5 lucky winners and their partners will be winging their way to France. Plus, take a cruise to the Mediterranean island paradise of Ibiza. Buy any Clover product to enter. Watch Expresso Breakfast Show every weekday morning for more information on how you can win.
Made with love by Clover. It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Oh yes, Mzansi, welcome back to Feel Good Breakfast Show. What an incredible show it's been. I'm loving everything about it, but this is a section that you're going to love so much because it gets you in the belly.
Yes, it does. So we have a collection of knock-knock jokes that are quite a classic. Let's see if they can literally get you to laugh out loud this morning. Oh, that takes knock-knock to a whole new level.
I can still feel it. Oh, look, if this joke didn't knock you out the park, then let me tell you, what's happening right now is a performance that's going to knock your socks off.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, one last time we get to thank this amazing outfit and, of course, Keenan Extian for performing, elevating our Monday to a whole different level. We love you guys. Thank you so much for being here, for just being so awesome. One more performance coming your way. And I'm going to ask you, stand up and just lose yourself in this one because it's about to take over. It's Golden Fever. Enjoy.
Happy birthday, Steve.
backup vocals. I'm sorry, boy. Next time. Man, Keenan, the whole outfit, take a bow. You guys are amazing. Woo! Individual brilliance there from one of the best. Thank you so much. Thank you, guys. What a show.
Yeah, what a way to kick off the week.
Was it only Monday? Oh, we get to do it all over again tomorrow. Thank you. Hopefully you found a bit of that self-discipline, but most importantly, self-love. We'll see you tomorrow. All right. Well done, everybody.
Another feel-good production.